Dudes.
Represents a clear and present danger to the national security of the United States.
You have no idea what men of power can do. Fuck! Sick fuck!
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Clear and Present Dudes. As usual, I'm Rory. I'm here with my friends Sanya Björksson.
Hi.
And Mike Dunbar.
Hello.
And tonight, Mike is going to lead us into some chat about the film that we're going to be discussing. Mike, take it away.
Yeah. So the movie we're going to do today is Enemy at the Gates, the 2001 war film directed and produced and written by Jean-Jacques Annaud, based on the William Craig 1973 non-fiction book Enemy at the Gates, The Battle for Stalingrad, starring Jude Law, Joseph Fiennes, Rachel Weisz, Bob Hoskins, and Ed Harris, Ron Perlman. It's all about this... what?
There's no mention of Will Smith in this summary.
Will Smith?
Will Smith.
Oh, did you mean Enemy of the State?
Enemy of the State.
The 1998
techno thriller.
Oh, no. Right. Okay,
yes.
hang on.
Oh,
fuck a duck.
Fuck a duck.
No, you're absolutely right. So you're all right. We are doing Enemy of the State, the 1998 American political action thriller film directed by Tony Scott, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson, and written by David Marconi, who also wrote Die Hard 4.0, but never mind. The film stars Will Smith as a Labour lawyer who becomes the target of a covert surveillance operation after unwittingly receiving evidence of a political assassination. It stars Will Smith, Gene Hackman, John Voight, Regina King, Lauren Dean, Jake Busey, Barry Pepper, Gabriel Byrne, a whole list of brilliant people from Those Guys and That's Guys and everybody. So yes, that is the movie we're going to do today, Enemy of the State. Right, cool. But before we do that, Rory O'Toole, shall we do our usual bit where we talk about the book you're reading at the minute by St. Tom of Clancy?
Just to catch the listeners up briefly, I'm listening to Tom Clancy's The Bear and the Dragon unabridged audiobook. It's late era Clancy, where China starts shit with Russia. Russia joins NATO. The subreddit r/non-credible defense loves it. You probably need to let the government scan your face to read that, though, at this point, because right now we live in a digital panopticon. Previous episodes have opined at the slow pace of the book. Lots of conversations, lots of President Jack Ryan talking about politics and Catholicism. Weird sex scenes between CIA officer Chester Namori and Ming, the Chinese Politburo secretaries, banging. Shit's finally, lads, getting real. There's an ongoing US diplomatic mission to the PRC, and there's squabbling and posturing about tariffs and copyright law and stuff. And like the Americans are big mad, the Chinese are ripping off Dell PCs and stuff, and there's IP violations. And this book's like 37 hours long, and a major point of it's like fucking IP violations. It's crazy. There's this great sequence just before things start to get real when the inner monologue of one of the American diplomats is along the lines of, damn, I've got a fat ass. These communist seats they give us to sit in are just too much for my colossal American dumper. It's mental. It all feels like Tom Clancy no longer giving a shit at all. You know, when like you're younger and you've got like write like an essay or whatever, and it's got to be like 2,000 words. And so you start buffing it up with like wheres and why-fors and loads of useless extra fucking verbiage, or at least added. So it feels like that a bit. It feels like there's a lot of just, I'm Tom Clancy. Today I feel like writing about a man thinking about his own ass. But then shit gets real because we're going to a chapter called Infanticide. In this chapter, Tommy Seed releases the hounds and it goes south real fucking quick. So, as I said before, among the many POV characters in this book, there's a husband and wife who are Chinese Baptist Christians. They've kept this wife's pregnancy secret because the first child got hit by a bus. In fact, the book makes a big deal about how the bus drove over its head because, why, Tom, why? And now they're making a second highly illegal baby. The wife goes into labour at work. I should say, the plan is that they're making a baby in secret. They're keeping it off the radar as far as the hospitals and like the Chinese healthcare service goes, because they know that they're violating like the one-child policy. And anyway, so the wife goes into labour at work. She obviously works at a shitty sweatshop factory, right? So she falls down on the floor in pain. A boss comes over and does like the best ever health and safety assessment. Like, it just stands over her thinking, okay, so she's not fallen from a height, she's not bleeding, looks like she's not tripped over or anything. Oh, I guess she's pregnant. And then like does nothing but stands there like a fucking glitched out NPC until the husband arrives. The book at this point quickly mentions that he's ex-forces. Now, it needs to kind of manage expectations because he almost immediately fucking bangs our manager out. He just like squares up. The manager calls him like a little bitch or something, and he just fucking decks him. He takes his wife out to where the bicycles are parked. But now, how is the novelist going to get a woman in agonizing labor onto a push bike? Now, either our husband puts her in the basket like E.T. or something, or something lucky happens. And guess what? Something lucky happens. Or is it? The security guy who's driving a fucking rickshaw around the place is ex-forces too. I think they've got that like inbuilt ex-forces radar when like guys of a certain age immediately detect each other because they know that like they're mad about the switch from 762 to 556. So he looks over.
You could bury an SLR for a week and pick it up, it would fire again. You could
The G3 was so supreme.
Listen, right, mate. David and Goliath. Goliath didn't get killed by a sling bullet, man. That was a negligent discharge by a guy in two-para with an SLR in 1974. Big bullets, son. Anyway.
Speaking of negligent discharges, did you hear about that standard sidearm thing with the US Air Force guy the other day?
Oh, the P320. Holy fucking shit. It's like literally killed. It's literally killed an American Air Forceman. And have you seen SIG's messaging on it? For like, this ends now. This is bullshit. It's all lies. It's fake news. It's like, it's not. It's not.
I guess you could say they are sick and tired.
Ew.
So anyway, as rickshaw buddy pulls up and he's like, hey, throw her on board. So they get on the back of this fucking rickshaw and they're going to take them home to the flats, which is like number 23 Great Leap Forward Apartments or something. It's like, it's laying it on thick. The plan, right, as I said, they have the baby at home. Hospital birth means in the book, the baby's going to get killed as soon as it crowns.
Yeah.
So the security guy, though, sees how unwell she is and decides to be a good comrade out of working class solidarity and takes them to the hospital. There's nurses and shit there before the Baptist guy can get his wife out of there. And like the hospital triages the wife as like about to give birth, needs scheduled for urgent full-term abortion. And the dad's left freaking out in the hallway. So he phones his pastor, a Taiwanese-born Baptist preacher who has strong ties to some churches in the US. And also his mate is the dad of the vice president. You see where this is going. The Baptist preacher just happens to have in his house, at this moment, get fucking ready, lads, the Vatican's papal nuncio, previously mentioned, a fat Italian cardinal who was the Pope's ambassador to the PRC and also a part of the Vatican's intelligence network.
And the Pope's exorcist.
Probably. I think this next guy might be the Pope's exorcist, actually. His assistant, a German Jesuit Monsignor, and a CNN video news team, at least one of whom is a fucking ex-Marine. Do you see how all the pieces are coming together? And the bunch of them, after the Baptist minister has taken this call, they just posse the fuck out. They get in the Pope-mobile and the news van, the burn rubber to the hospital. They let themselves in because fuck yeah, unilateral actions. The news team following the preachers, papists and Protestants in lockstep to save the life of a baby. And all writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
Wow. This woman is having quite the struggle session.
That's fucking right, man. The book's narration barely takes a breath at this point. You see a situation fall apart in real time, which is what Clancy writes well. He does write it well. But there are a couple of moments when it does so take a breath and gives the news team guys a moment to internally comment on how dog shit and drab the hospital looks. And then, right, the news team are through the doors of the maternity/execution room like a SWAT team. Like the book describes them as moving like such. Now, as a lapsed and non-practicing journalist, this gives me absolute fucking dopamine, but it's also fucking silly. The holy men kick the fuck off, right? The baby's just crowning, a doctor's ready with a needle. It's like a bizarro version of the nativity. Someone grabs the doctor's syringe and beats it against the wall. The baby's almost out. So police turn up, right? And they try to start static with the preachers. The big Italian lad, former midfielder, the book is clear about this, fucking wades in. And one of the cops literally gun whips him in the head, but it has zero effect because he's just a big fucker. The German priest's inner monologue is literally, I can't attack, but I can defend. And the next thing he does is fucking grab a cop's gun while it's in the cop's hand and wrestles with him. The nuncio gets shot, gets mortally wounded. Gunfire makes the baby pop out.
What?
The baby is now a living citizen of the PRC and it can't be stabbed with a death jab. Oh, yes. The Baptist runs over and catches it and then turns to square up with one of the cops with the baby in his arms. So they've already accidentally shot a foreign priest/diplomat. The safeties at this point are all off and this Baptist gets domed, just brains blown out, falling down on top of the nuncio, the baby landing safely on their corpses. And CNN gets it all on tape, baby.
Oh my God.
It's insane. I just realised that in referring to myself as a lapsed and non-practicing journalist, that's absolutely a Clancy-esque way of fucking describing myself, dude. Jesus Christ. So yes, the Bear and the Dragon is getting absolutely insane at this point.
Right. I suppose what we should do at this point in the pod is thank everyone for listening and remind them if you could rate and review on Apple or Spotify, that'd be really helpful for us just to extend our reach out to our audience. And if you could subscribe on YouTube if you want, if that's where you listen to it. Don't go crazy, just do it where you listen to it. I'm not a dictator. But yeah, that'd be really helpful for us. Guys, should we talk a bit about Enemy of the State? And should we do that by listening to the trailer?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so Julie, I'm going to finish up my Christmas shopping. Hey, do chicks dig lingerie?
Look a lot funnier than it is.
Yeah, right.
It really does.
She's a six.
What about
This shop.
I'm sorry? Oh, she's way bigger than that. I mean,
This
not
is insane.
noticeably.
They put this in the trailer.
Yeah.
Help me.
This thing with the
Robert
Later on the
Clayton
camera.
Dean. He's a DC labor attorney.
Take us around to the other side.
Focus on the drop.
Is it a tape?
A powerful man has been murdered.
Holy.
A hidden camera recorded the crime.
None of this goes beyond us. We don't need any more problems, do we?
An innocent bystander
Are those my Christmas presents?
In your dreams, buddy.
Dad.
was given the evidence.
We have reason to believe that Mr. Zavitz may have passed sensitive materials to you.
No, he didn't pass me anything.
How did you happen to be at Ruby's today?
I was shopping for some lingerie. That's still legal, isn't it?
For your wife?
No, I was picking something up for myself. I do a little cross-dressing on the weekends.
Let's get into his life.
Produced by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Take his wife and kid. He give it up for them.
Target switching.
Directed by Tony Scott.
Why are they after me?
2 targets, rooftop.
You have something they want! I don't have anything!
Request immediate keyhole visual tasking. Target is on 21.
Don't do this to me.
Get out! 19.
I've been a law-abiding citizen my whole life. One day with you, shoot.
He's running! He's on your 6 o'clock.
Will Smith.
Certainly carjacked a really nice car.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman.
You're either incredibly smart or incredibly stupid.
It's hard to remember because we were like, what was it, 1998? So what was I, 12, 13 at the time? What,
I was
15 maybe?
15.
So we forget, I think, that at this time, Will Smith was like probably the main bankable name in Hollywood at the time. Like you could put Will Smith in a movie and guarantee $150 million box office.
Yeah, 1998, right? So he's coming off the back of what? He's coming off the back of Men in Black.
Men in
Was
Black.
it 96 or 97 or
Men in Black was 97, and then what he does is famously turns down The Matrix and then does Wild Wild West immediately after this.
Yes.
But in between, he does this role. I think it's certainly his first role where he does a serious performance without too many jokes. In an actual dramatic thriller. I think everything else he's done before, this has been an action comedy or an action something or a comedy something. So this is the first time that Will Smith's really kind of stepping into a purely dramatic role. And then what I guess what we don't talk about a lot at the time is Gene Hackman's run. So Gene Hackman's come off the back of doing, so this is what, 1998. So his run, like we talked about when we did No Way Out, is just doing these movies where he is like a side character or a bad guy or a co-lead, and but he ends up being cast opposite like all these like hot young actors. So like in 1993, does The Firm with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
But he does these movies where he's like the side guy who ends up kind of overpowering the movie. I think after this movie, he then does I want to say The Royal Tenenbaums. But
he actually did Ants the same year. He did Ants, in which he played General Mandible. So it's both films with a very anti-authoritarian bent to them. It's like Mr. Hackman, welcome to the resistance.
Brilliant. I suppose the key thing this movie's remembered for now is that it was eerily prescient. Obviously, it obviously predicts a surveillance state that we now pretty much live in. And at the time, it seemed a little bit far-fetched, but I suppose what people weren't expecting was 9/11 to happen pretty much like 3 years later, the Patriot Act, PRISM legislation, all that kind of stuff. So it could have been way ahead of its time. And I suppose one of the things it showed is the incredible capability of the NSA, which you would assume would make it like a movie that the NSA really, really like. But not so much. They were not fans.
I think it's interesting when we look at that because like intelligence agencies do kind of like to get films to co-sign their public image, don't they, and stuff like. I mean, as we'll discover as we go through this podcast and do all 170 something films that we've got lined up, plus more, there's so many vehemently pro-CIA films, and this is not a pro-NSA film in the slightest. There's no one of any like redeemability within the cast of villains in this film. There's no like bad guy who wants to kind of stick to the rules and obey the Constitution and kind of have a kind of come to Jesus moment and become a good dude in the film, you know?
Yeah, it should probably be clear that John Voight's character, Reynolds, is an ambitious guy who wants to become the deputy director of the NSA. But what he's doing at the minute is he wants to get a particular bill passed through the Senate, which is a telecommunications intelligence surveillance bill, which is going to make it much easier for the NSA to do its job by invading the personal liberties of every US citizen, basically. But to do that, he's killed another senator who was blocking that bill, and a tape has been discovered that was being recorded by Jason's Lee character
Savitz,
that's it. What becomes is a bit of a rogue operation set up by this guy Reynolds to silence this guy, recover that evidence, tie up all the loose ends, so that this bit of legislation can get through, and then he can get the promotion he so wants. And then his entire team just go along with it. And he kind of says like, "This is a training op. If anybody asks, this is a training op, but it's not a training op. It's a coordinated campaign to terrorize somebody and commit a few murders along the way." But yeah, totally agree with your point. There are no redeeming good guys, and this is why the NSA didn't like it. And there was a new director who came into position, a guy called General Michael Hayden. He made a judgment that the organization would not survive with the popular impression of the agency that was being formed from this movie. There was a Freedom of Information request to release any documentation relating to the production of this movie from the NSA archives. And whilst they were initially quite keen to cooperate, and they were talking about like allowing NSA employees to be extras in the movie, allowing them to film the exterior of the building, maybe talk about getting in access at some point. That all went frosty coals when this guy got involved. Basically stopped that whole thing dead, and it got to the point where Fort Meade was photographed externally via helicopter of a public airspace, and that was it. And there was talks of employees trying to like sue the production because they were like filmed walking for the car park, but that's not how public access laws in the US work. If you're out in public, you can get filmed out in public, basically. On the flip side, and maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here, but the CIA we're quite keen to let them into Langley for the very end of the movie when the CIA get involved. But we'll come to that right by the end. But weird to see like an interagency disparity there.
I mean, it's interesting because you've got like the rivalry in No Way Out, that callback. Is it the CIA and the NSA are kind of at odds in No Way Out?
Yeah, he's Stephanie Bryce is the defense secretary working at the DoD, and he has his own people, and then they're trying to obfuscate information from getting to the CIA, aren't they?
It's crazy to like look at these like American three-letter agencies as these kind of little warring fucking kingdoms inside a great conglomerate. It's a bit mad.
These petty dukedoms and fiefdoms.
Petty fucking dukedoms and fiefdoms. It's like the world's best or worst game of Crusader Kings. The opening beats when you see the Republican politician, the only based Republican in the swamp, getting killed. For me, it's like you see these two older actors who were from a previous generation of films, a previous generation of thrillers involved in this kind of tete-a-tete, and then like you see this older guy get fucking wiped out. And there's all like the technological capture of it, and it kind of shows the shift between the days of films like The Conversation, and this, like, it's like a kind of like epochal kind of change. I think that's pretty fucking cool, and that's my little point about this. I also noticed that this is the first film we're doing when there's no real kind of maritime, nautical, or riverine aspect to it, unless you count the senators or congressman's car being pushed into a lake. That's the closest this film gets to seafaring.
But yeah, no, dude, you make a really good point about that first 5 minutes. So the first 5 minutes, you've got Jason Robards is playing the senior senator or congressman. I can't remember which exactly. Yeah. Obviously, he was Ben Bradley in All the President's Men. I think he's playing. Does he play the dying father of Magnolia as well? Shortly after this,
sure he does.
But you've got this like Hollywood royalty kind of situation here in the scene with like John Voight, and it looks like something like from JFK or like again like All the President's Men or The Conversation, as you say. And even for a Tony Scott movie, it has that color burn thing he does at the top of the frame, which he always did in this era. You'll see it like on Man on Fire, and you'll see it on Spy Game and stuff when he does an exterior shot. But apart from that, like, it hasn't got the fast cutting or the the frenetic camera movement that the rest of the movie has. So it almost looks like a movie from a different time, right up until they stick him and push him into the river, and then like from there it does the crazy like introductory sequence with all the words flying across and the little crosshairs and the random surveillance footage and they're like the inverted color footage and satellite footage and all that kind of stuff.
And all the CCTV and stuff. It's wild, yeah. Yeah,
that's it. And then bang, we're off to the races. It's Tony Scott. Here I am. Right. Yes. But yeah, that first 5 minutes is like a different movie, and that could have been a good movie actually, but this is a really good movie, so don't worry.
Yes, it's a fucking brilliant movie, yeah.
Good point, man. Right, so the other thing I was going to talk about, sorry, just from the surveillance state stuff at the beginning, extremely prescient for us in the UK right now. You've already alluded to it once. There is a ID verification bit of legislation that's come in the United Kingdom, which requires if you want to access adults' content to ID verify for the sake of protecting the children. Very controversial issue at the minute. I don't particularly have too much of an issue with it myself right now, except I suppose what you have is the whole Thomas Jefferson kind of thing of liberty versus security, and if you give away your liberty for additional security, you deserve neither, all that kind of thing.
I mean, it's probably coming to Spotify soon. So, hello, people who are listening to us on Spotify. I hope you're using a VPN, not a sponsor yet.
Yeah, I think they make a point about talking about it in the movie. So, Regina King's character, Carla, she's there watching it on TV. She's watching, I think it's Crossfire or something. And she's calling out the government as fascists. Again, way ahead of her time.
Timely, yeah.
But here's my counterpoint argument for the pair of you.
Yeah.
Does it actually soften our opinion about surveillance overall, because it normalizes it brings it into our home, oversells the NSA's capability in the movie throughout. So anyone with half a brain will tell you, like, watching it, there's no way they actually have that ability to get a satellite to give them that information that quickly, sort through it, make it actionable intelligence from it, and then act on it within like 2 minutes with a team full of one little ops room of guys. Another ops room movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I suppose the other side of that is the movie has a happy ending. It all works out. All that intelligence was gathered. You were surveilled, but actually, you all came to the right conclusion at the end, so it's all right, even though massive abuses of power happened along the way. Discuss. I mean, does it show the dangers of it, or does it make it seem okay?
Sanya, what do you think about that?
Give me a moment to think. I'm on standby. This is shit.
Oh shit, dude, that sucks ass. You ready to throw on Flecton at a moment's notice?
No, just my silly little dictator costume with all the gold on it.
I hear you're moving away from Flecton and moving to Multiton now.
Please stop.
Reddit is in shambles.
I am in shambles. Listen, at this point I am expecting to get a new uniform every 8. Just shoot me. I am supposed to be getting new Flexon later this year. It's like my own ballistic vests, an entire new set, wet gear, winter gear, everything new, still in Flexon. Then by the end of this year, or the start of next year, I'm supposed to get a new utility uniform for the ship. And then in 2 years, they're going to give us multicam. Just shoot me! Where am I supposed to put all this shit?
What sort is Multiton? Just a fucking bridge to join the moribund masses of Multicam?
Yes!
Jesus.
Moribund masses.
It's hard.
The moribund masses of Multicam. It's the Triple M, baby. I think in the context of 1998, it does kind of allay your fears a bit, doesn't it? Because it kind of makes you think, well, this surveillance is bad, but they've then kind of said, oh, well, who's going to monitor the monitors of those who monitors people? And it's like, oh, there's going to be checks and balances, and it promises checks and balances to be put in. And it also, I think, it has this kind of like the idea that the FBI are going to fix things, because obviously the FBI present and are seen as being a force for stability. In context of today, I don't think it allays your fears, because now we know that you can't like move a keyhole satellite in a position at like a moment's notice, but we do know that they can pull a significant amount of things about you. So yeah, I think contextually in 1998, it probably would have put people at ease a bit. And looking back through reviews of it, you can see reviews back in like 2012 saying, man, it's okay, it's all right. And then in 2025, people going like, holy shit, guys, here's how the NSA killed Tony Scott. So I just want to really quickly aside something here. Tony Scott from Northfields.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith's character is Newcastle coded, man. Robert Clayton Dean. 2 of his names are streets in Newcastle.
Yeah.
There you go. All connected. Follow the money. Follow the Greg's pasties down the rabbit hole.
I've got one more for you then. I was going to save it for the needle drop section, but one of the songs on the soundtrack is Six Underground by Sneaker Pimps, and they're from Hartlepool.
Oh, holy fucking shit.
A bunch of bloody monkey hangers.
Monkey hangers. Oh my god. For people not from the Northeast, monkey hanger isn't a racial slur. It's a reference to the fact that people from Hartlepool allegedly, during the Napoleonic period, when a French ship was wrecked off the coast of Hartlepool and the ship's monkey survived, people of Hartlepool executed it, believing it to be a Frenchman.
True.
We had to community note that one there.
Yeah.
This has been fact-checked by real Northumbrian patriots as true.
True.
So, where we are in the movie, we've had the first 5 minutes. We've had the senator get murdered. What they don't count on is that the next day, or later that day, when the police are there trying to cordon the scene, and some of his goons are there to check out what's going on, they spot on the other side of the lake a car come along, and it's Jason Lee, and he's taking a fixed camera away that had been there, changing out the film, putting another digital SD card or whatever into it to keep filming. He takes it away.
Because he monitors duck migration.
Canadian geese migration. He's a nature photographer now, I guess.
Yeah,
And
he's some kind of fucking pinko liberal whose entire job is to monitor migrating birds. Goddamn liberals.
Yeah, so it's a really weird one. So he immediately checks the footage, sees what's going on, and then immediately calls the paper. Because it turns out, right, it's not clear in the movie, but it's clear in the screenplay that he is a lapsed and non-practicing journalist. And actually, he wants to, and so he calls his old editor and then offers him the footage. At the same time as that's happened, the NSA were going to beat on him, and they come to take him out. He makes a copy of the footage, leaves the original on his hard drive, takes the disc away with him, and there starts the first major foot chase of the movie. Very frenetic. Tony Scott powerhouse, just jumping between rooftops, running in and out of shops, out through the back doors, doing that classic chase scene thing of running to some unknown interior location, just causing chaos and running through it again. Love that. Love to see that in a movie. And that's where he runs into, as we heard in the trailer, Robert Clayton Dean in a weird lingerie shop. Where he bumps into him and they're old school friends or college buddies. And they have an encounter, but that
and even just interject here.
Yeah,
say he's in the horniest lingerie shop of all time. This is not how normal lingerie shops are, right? I mean,
I've walked through the lingerie section of a M&S before, and at no point did like a straight New York 10 approach me in lingerie to model the merchandise personally for me. Like, what the fuck?
I hear it's the biggest lingerie section in Ireland, Father. No, it's nuts, isn't it? Like, it's absolutely crazy. And then, like, she's like, oh, so what size is she? And there's just these like women cutting about in this like incredibly like skimpy lingerie. It's like, oh, I guess
that one,
like he's pointing at them like he's like purchasing women. It's weird. And then also how big are how big are chabs? Oh, way bigger than that. And like she's really pissed off. And he's like, oh, did it again, idiot kind of thing. Like, and it's just wild. It's like, I mean, this was the late 90s when thrillers were getting less horny, right?
But then Gene Hackman signed on.
Gene Hackman signed on, and it's like, listen to me. Gotta get some tits and ass in this film. I don't need to be in the scene. I just need to see it.
So all the bits there. So the bit there where the salesperson is like points to the chest and goes like, what size? And then he goes, what? And he goes, what size bust or cup?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that, because he's obviously was thinking, what size penis do I have? Because she must be coming on to me. Like, I thought that was like a Will Smith ad lib that had gone in there, but the screenplay that I read this afternoon, which is like the Aaron Sorkin pass, uncredited Aaron Sorkin pass on the script, that's all in there. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, well, what the fuck? That was a paycheck for Mr. Sorkin.
There are some walking and talking scenes actually. So.
Oh, I was gonna talk about some trivia, but and I don't want to like deviate too far from this, which is my favorite movement in the movie, but like you would assume that all the Sorkin bits would be where he inputted all the amazing speeches, but there's another version that came after this, which I haven't read, which is a punch up by Tony Gilroy, also uncredited.
Yeah,
Tony Gilroy, for those who don't know, wrote pretty much all the Bourne movies. There's also famously did Andor, had a lot of success with Andor the last couple of years as the brainchild behind that, showrunner, lead writer, and director, I think, of some of it. And also did the movie Michael Clayton. But some of the best meaty speeches, anyway, that are in this movie, like the whole bit about where John Voight Reynolds is like, I want to get into his life. I want to see what porter rentals he has. I want to do that. All that stuff. No, that's in the screenplay, the pass by Sorkin. Like, there's actually, it's really dialogue light.
It's really interesting, man. So, like, because I thought like the Sorkin stuff would have been like the more verbiage kind of thing.
Yeah, compare it to like A Few Good Men or something, you know?
Yeah. And of course, then in the awkward scene that kind of serves as a like more benign version of the woman's supermarket from fucking Taken. When Zavitz runs in through the back door, the world's sexiest underwear shop, which seems like a major fucking kind like risk that should be mitigated against. Because any guy could just run in there and just like kind of outflank and blindside these like attractive women not wearing much in the way of clothes. This is a major fucking risk factor, guys. Anyway, he gets in there and he talks to Robert Clayton, who I believe immediately gives him his fucking business card, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's incredible. And then there's a bit of a like he does like a little sort of dead drop, doesn't he? Like he drops that media player with its big fuck off PCM CIA card that it's saved on into his bag, runs off, gets into this excellent chase scene on a bicycle, which is filmed by these satellites that they pull in to watch it, and it's a brilliant chase scene. You know how much I love chase scenes. This is put together so well. I've seen a few comments saying, "Oh, so these guys who were on foot can easily catch up to them." Well, I mean, it's like a city, you know, like your use of a bicycle in a city is if you get on the streets or if you need it for like a burst of speed. You're not going to be going like wide open space cycle path speeds in the middle of, you know, DC or whatever. And this is the second moment when my wife becomes the predictor of death in films, because she literally mentioned something about that senator being based for like standing up against this surveillance state, then getting killed. And then, as fucking My Name is Earl rides his bike against traffic, which is really fucking cool stunt riding. I think it's really well put together scene. And then immediately, just before he crosses over in front of a fire engine, she goes, "Oh my god, this guy's so based." And and then he gets wiped out. So then, like you see, obviously he's being pursued, and then you just see him get wiped out by a fire engine. The film does not mess around, and then you see just this like, great like footage of his corpse seen from space, seen from a satellite. It's like hey, it's the cold fucking surveillance state will watch you bleed out from like thousands of miles above you. You know, I think it's pretty cool.
That is cool. And it's cool how they filmed it back then as well, because drone, like nowadays, you could do that quite easily with drone footage, but back then they would have to do that all that with probably with a helicopter or something.
The whole city must have been a mess of helicopters for a significant amount of the filming.
I tried to count up how many shots of helicopters we saw in this movie. I couldn't do it. There was just too many.
Yeah.
I can tell you how many the times they appear in the screenplay, and it's like 5 maybe max.
Yeah.
Whereas every single chase, every single bit of surveillance, there's a helicopter like over the location, constantly feeding information. Yeah. You don't get any of that in the screenplay.
I mean, that digs into a kind of 1990s kind of paranoia. Just like the symbolism of helicopters and stuff. Work with me here. Back then, like the 90s, you had people talking about things like black helicopters, unmarked helicopters, that awesome song by Soul Coughing, one of the best tracks from the X-Files soundtrack album, Songs in the Cave X. And the idea of like government black helicopters was something that was a real kind of scare point for people in like the conspiracy theory sphere, I do remember, because I was an early adopter of things like this, and I was reading 14 times from being about 13. So, yeah, hi NSA. So yeah, like I think the concept of like a helicopter surveilling you was like scary, I think, back then than it is now.
Big time. Another thing that is not in the script so much, but appears in the movie, is the surveillance van, which appears a couple of times in the script. But the little mobile ops room, which is staffed at all times by Jamie Kennedy, Seth Green, and on and off by Jack Black. Yeah. So they are almost the Greek chorus of the film. They are on every single one of these encounters. They are constantly delivering exposition. Seth Green often yelling it at the top of his lungs. I remember you mentioning that you quite liked that as a concept. The concept of having 3 ordinarily comedic actors take a relatively serious part in this movie, just yelling out exposition and just generally kind of getting in the way of stuff. Made me think of this quote from him and Hess, which was, "If you hate a person, you hate something in him that is part of yourself. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us." And
I love that. That's amazing.
I thought of like 3 goofballs just sniping in from the sidelines about what's going on.
Goofballs with headsets.
Who the fuck are these guys getting in the way of my movie?
Yeah, that's actually incredibly fucking insightful. I love it. I really enjoyed the casting. People like Seth Green, like Jack Black, as these amoral dickheads who are pretty unfunny in the roles. I believe there's like just one kind of Jack Black joke in which, and even then, it's just him being weird and pervy when he's talking about the housekeeper. Says, "Oh, she doesn't shave her legs. That's the kind of woman I love," or something. And it's like they've done something really cool, and they've cast these comedy actors to be absolute dickheads and to be horrible people. And so Reynolds is obviously the villain of the piece, but he couldn't do any of it without these incredibly willing henchmen who were total scumbags. Like these guys are scumbag mode, dressed up in spiky hair. And I think it's meant. I think it's actually, it probably holds up as a casting decision better now than it may have then.
I agree.
Because I mean, Seth Green at this point had been in Buffy the Vampire Slayer for what, maybe a couple of years.
If that.
No, actually, he.
In fact, I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer starts that year. I think
Buffy the Vampire Slayer released on the WB in 1997.
Right.
So by this point, he's been on our screens as, you know, like the kind of lovable, dorky, nerdy kind of nice guy role, and then he's just a sinister middle manager who's very happy to like coordinate the destruction of people's lives, existence, and social standing. I think it's class.
Yeah, he did some stuff as a child actor, hadn't he? He'd some Stephen King. I can't remember which one. Was it Stand By Me? I can't remember.
Stand By Me seemed to have like a significant amount of people in it who then went on to be quite famous. So
no, sorry, he was in Stephen King's It. He was in the TV movie of Stephen King's It.
Ah, right. He was in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the film in 1992. He played a vampire in it. Holy shit!
That's right. You only see him for like one scene, I think.
He played Scott Evil in Austin Powers. Yeah. So Seth Green, Amy Kennedy, Barry Pepper, being just incredibly sinister. And then I saw a comment saying that they had comedy casting of Scott Caan. I didn't really think of Scott Caan as a comedy actor, but boy, is his neck fucking big in this film.
Yeah.
His neck is gigantic. That first scene he appears in, he looks like the guy from Cannibal Corpse. It's ridiculous. He never skips neck day, that guy.
Yeah, Scott
Christ.
Scott Caan would be really funny in the Oceans series.
He was really funny in the Oceans films, yeah.
Which should come after this. But he's not funny in this at all. In fact, this movie's great for having like a great cast of goons. Like it is the Olympics of Goon Squad. So Team Goon are taking like all the gold.
It's the Gooning Olympics. And now representing the United States of America in the Gooning Olympics, it's Jake Busey.
Exactly, right? So Jake Busey's there from like Starship Troopers. But great movie goons. Tom Sizemore in an uncredited role.
Unfucking credited. Yeah.
Uncredited. One of the main characters that drives the plot of the movie is Tom Sizemore. He's uncredited as the mobster. Eat your food, Uncle Paulie's going to take you to the zoo. 4th of July, best day of the year. Barry Pepper, who, as we all know, as dads all know, is the cool sniper from Saving Private Ryan who gets whacked by the Panzer, but was also in Battlefield Earth. Okay.
Holy crap!
Oh, what's the other main guy who's one of the goons? Who's got a massive role actually in the screenplay, but has had pretty much all his lines cut in the actual movie. Lauren Dean as Hicks, who was in Apollo 13 and Gattaca and other bits and bobs, but he's just a standard goon in here. He's one of the ones that works in the NSA building, reporting to Reynolds directly. Ian Hart, the guy who does the initial detection of Jason Lee, gets bashed up in the car crash and is the one who's like, yeah, I'll gift wrap your blender for you. That guy, yeah.
The blender subplot's brilliant.
He's English, he's from Liverpool, but yeah. No, great Goon cast. That's it for Goon Watch.
By the way, gooning is actually up for grabs as the potential youth word of the year in Germany.
Amazing, boom. Barely scratch the surface of the film at this point, and it's just there's so much to talk about. This film's amazing. This film's 2 hours and 13 minutes long. The YouTube version's, I think, 2 hours and 6 minutes long. So something cut out of that probably is related to the NSA. So I watched the full version of it on my friend's Disney Plus. Shout out to Jen from Syracuse, friend of the show, who lets me log into our fucking Disney Plus. After this, we've got My Name Is Earl gets killed, and then Robert Clayton Dean goes home with the bag, with the MacGuffin. He comes back to seeing his wife calling American politicians fascists, which again is really spot on. This film is, and half of the reviews on Letterboxd, they're like, yeah, this film tells the future, and it does. It does. So yeah, then we witness like a bit of happy home life for them as a son and a son's friend. As a son's a total cool kid, by the way. Like in like the final scene with his son, he's reading a White Dwarf magazine, so his son's a Warhammer nerd. And
Did
like,
not catch that.
Yeah, well, dude, I did. Warhammer mentioned. So I'm like sitting up straight in my seat after 2.25 hours of film, going, that's a fucking White Dwarf magazine. There's an elven fucking War Eagle in it or something. It's like, holy shit, that's an advert for Games Day. Holy fuck. Yeah, Warhammer mentioned. So he goes back, sees his family, and at this point you've got like all the kind of investigation that's kind of unfolding like behind him, isn't it? Like they're starting to track him at this point because like they're searching up the movements of Zavitz. They find the footage of him from inside the lingerie shop just without any kind of like oversight or requests or anything. It's just like, get the CCTV from that shop that's got half-naked employees. There's no forms to fill in. There's no wait. There's no run-up by a committee. And so they get footage. They are pretty confident that it's been handed over. They even do a bit of generative AI, don't they? When they're like, oh, can the camera show the other side of the bag? It's like, well, it can estimate it, and then like they do kind of generative AI, like show that it's possibly got a bulge in there. I mean, they didn't really have to because like they can see someone put something fucking in it, but it does eerily predict the future of AI and trusting AI to make decisions.
I had this down as the most egregious oversell of the military-industrial complex. The fact they have this technology, which is essentially that weird funky camera from Blade Runner, where they can go like, oh yeah, just change the angle on that.
Yeah.
Zoom in, enhance. Like, yeah, that obviously doesn't exist. The two things are wrong with that for me personally. One, they don't apply anywhere near the correct levels of military judgment to the veracity of that information. Only Jack Black keeps piping up, or nothing, could be nothing, and everyone ignores him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they just take it at face value as well. And the fact that they can do it so quickly is just crazy. But that's true.
A big oversell.
That's true of everything in this movie, though.
I've got some opinions on oversells as well that we'll go into when we hit the correct point for that as well, because I've got them queued up and ready to go. They're locked and loaded. So yeah, they then start like surveil him, as I said. Like they send the goons to his house after quickly putting together a team which includes basically Jake Busey and Scott Kahn, who I believe are they like described as ex-special forces or something?
They're US Marines who have just been
US Marines, yeah.
I think they've been released out of military prison early.
Yes.
Because they banged out their gunnery sergeant. And
probably because the
fuck you, Sarge, the army's crap.
The army's crap.
So Scott Kahn's like
he probably made a joke about neck sizes.
Well, that's it. So he's like, well, that's it. Because Scott Kahn pipes up. He's like, permission to speak, sir. With all due respect, the gunnery sergeant in question was an asshole.
These are the updated 90s version of Contra 1 and Contra 2 from No Way Out.
Big time. Yeah, so they send him around to his house. This is in addition to the screenplay. So what they do here is he pays a visit to the house first, and then they get kind of thinned out. Then they stage the break-in, and then they plant a bunch of stuff.
Which is a pretty cool bit of writing, I think. Like, it's cool how they kind of are zoom in on the watch shots and Omega, zoom in on the pen, it's a Parker, that kind of thing. It's
a Montblanc.
Brands mentioned.
Yes. Yeah.
So they do that. There's a fair bit of product placement in this film as well.
So in the screenplay it makes more sense because they have the break-in and then they come and interview him after the break-in.
Right, I see.
So, yeah, they do that. They have the break-in so that they can start procuring replacements that are already rigged with bugs and tracking devices and so on. It's just tracking devices, actually, isn't it? And then the next day, he goes off to his rowing club, does a bit of rowing of the Potomac, and then they break into the changing rooms, swap out all the gear, and then leave. And then from there, I think that's when the wheels start coming off, isn't it? The papers have a story already.
Yeah, because there's the plot with Rachel.
Who we haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah, we've talked about Rachel's importance to the film because she's obviously a key player because she's the contact that he's paying regarding the mob trial and the tape that exists of Tom Sizemore's incredibly sweaty Italian mobster union boss breaking his parole, I think, by hanging around with union members and stuff. Robert Dean's like an anti-union labor lawyer.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
He's like, it's so fucking close, man. You're almost there, but yeah. So she's kind of involved with him insofar as he's paying her for information. There's a great scene of Mr. when Will Smith's character is introduced by having to meet with those clients of his, and someone's like, oh god, these damn Guidos, and he's like, oh, you can't call them that, they're Italian Americans. Then 5 minutes later he's like, let's get these Guido motherfuckers. It's like and he's not scared of using slurs, because I believe it's that the same scene when someone uses the term shyster lawyer. And he takes offense at it because he's like, this is a term used to denigrate Jewish members of my profession. As an African American, you should be calling me an eggplant. And it's like, it's like, I fucking love that scene because it's letting Will Smith be funny, which he genuinely is a funny guy, while still being serious.
Smith does really well in this movie to resist some of his comedic impulses. He doesn't really like it because he is a really funny guy. But his comedy rhythm, if you like, is that he tends to be really big and kind of overact a lot, which I know he can. Well, obviously this movie demonstrates he can put a leash on, but he still lets a few comedy lines get out without hitting that pitch. There's a bit later on in the movie where he's getting handed different outfits from like Gene Hackman's wardrobe because that's all he has available to him. Yeah. And he asks, he goes, oh, he gets handed a shirt. And he goes, oh, can I have another shirt? And he goes, and he hands him like a Hawaiian shirt. He goes, actually, no, you can take that back. It's like, what? That's my best Hawaiian shirt. It's like, well, you can say aloha to that shirt. And then just waves to it. But he does it just at that pitch. You could just say aloha to that shirt. But instead of like a bigger delivery. So yeah, it's really cool that he gets to do that in this movie without keeps it kind of like bouncing along and light, but doesn't like turn it into like Beverly Hills Cop 2. And
I mean, it already done like the kind of comedy action thing in Bad Boys. So like obviously in Bad Boys he's like funnier, he's more off the chain, he's more kind of unleashed. And yeah, he dials it back masterfully here. I do think it's an absolute banger of a Will Smith performance. I'm not going to say it's best, but it's certainly really good.
For the next sort of 20 to 30 minutes is Robert Dean getting on the massive back foot. He's basically falling into every step of the trap they're laying for him. So he's wearing all the trackers they want him to wear. He's arranged to meet with Rachel Banks in person, Lisa Bonet. By the way, we haven't mentioned that yet. My God, just great in this movie.
Yes, yeah.
So arranges a personal meet with her, which is exactly what you want to do. And he says over the phone exactly where and when it's going to be. So they photograph it. They send the pictures straight to his wife. They cancel all these cards and everything. They basically get him into like a rat in a trap for like 30 minutes. And it's actually pretty thrilling to watch. Like to watch it get, like, how is he going to get out of this? Like, he's just getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it. It's annoying because like I'd say the first 20 minutes of the movie are a little bit slow. I just kind of wish that like Jason Lee got pancaked about like 5 or 10 minutes earlier. I suppose where it starts to turn, I guess, is where he starts to seek more information by trying to arrange a meet with Gabriel Byrne's character.
Which is brilliant, because the Gabriel Byrne bit, that's like obviously another amazing actor with a storied fucking career, playing a relatively minor role. So he believes that Gabriel Byrne's on his side, right? But he's not. I mean, is Gabriel Byrne in cahoots with the NSA in this film? Because his actions are weird. He removes one of his tracking devices, just one. He gives that information about Brill when says, oh, Brill's dead, Brill's buried in some field, he died of polio or cholera or something at age 2. So he's kind of given a bit of information to say, oh, like this is like a fake ID, fake identity this Brill guy has or whatever, which is kind of misdirection, I guess, right? But Brill ends up chasing Will Smith and Gabriel Byrne down, doesn't he? And Gabriel Byrne pulls a gun on him. Gabriel Byrne has no interactions with the NSA guys in the film, like, at all. I don't know if the screenplay explains what's going on. Is he just reprising his role in End of Days, and is he actually Satan, just kind of hanging around? It adds almost another level to the film, because what is he to this film, to this story? Is he some freelance counterintelligence guy? Is he someone who's subcontracting to the NSA? He doesn't appear to have their kind of methods or their kind of high-tech push behind him. He's just a guy in a taxi. Who the fuck was that guy?
Yeah, so that screenplay just has him down as Brill in inverted commas.
Right.
Right, yeah. So what the screenplay does say, okay, is that Dean goes to the ferry, which is like the meeting point, which he'd already discussed with Rachel about where to find Brill, because he does a drop at like noon at a ferry place, whatever.
Yeah.
He waits there. You've got a voiceover from Rachel, which is like her basically recapping what they've talked about, kind of thing. It ends with the stage direction. Dean's alone now. The ferry docks for the night. The last passengers, 2 nuns, disembark. Dean rises to go. Brill's a no-show. Internal ferry terminal at night. Dean walks down the ramp. It's dark in an empty terminal. Not the best place at this hour. Up ahead, 2 men stand in the darkness. Then, kissing. Down another hall, sounds of nearing footsteps. Dean detours into men's room, continuous, and then that's when he gets confronted by Gabriel Byrne. Just as the real Brill, Gene Hackman says later on, like, did he tell you he was Brill, or did you give him that information and did he run with it? And that's kind of implied in the screenplay. Yeah. So I think he is working with the NSA. He is definitely dodgy. They can track him, they can find out what he's doing, and they kind of know the content of that conversation. They obviously heard all the entire conversation with Rachel, so I think they've set that up. Other combat indicators that you're right. So again, the screenplay is slightly different from what happens in the movie. The screenplay, he removes the device from his boot, and then he, in this, he puts it into the potato chip wrapper and then flushes the potato chip wrapper down the toilet. Again, destroying evidence, I would say. When we get to the real Brill later on, when he starts taking the tracking devices off of Will, he obviously preserves them and keeps them for later. Yeah. And doesn't destroy them. So then we have the meet, I suppose, finally, after all that happens. Will's still on the run. Dean is still on the run after the taxi crash. So I guess the taxi that Gabriel Byrne's driving gets T-boned by a Chevy.
It's being chased down by the actual real Brill.
That's right. Dean gets out of the cab, runs away. We don't see Gabriel Byrne again. We presume he's maybe dead. And then eventually we have the meeting between Hackman and Smith, and they finally start talking. But they're not like pals straight away. That's another thing I really like about this movie, is that they are kind of loggerheads for a while. So
absolutely. Chambers and what?
You know how many federal agents you had following you on that ferry? Who are you working for?
You talking about? I'm not worried.
Is this about me? Am I a target here? Do they know me?
Who is that?
Do they know me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're either very smart or incredibly stupid. Get off. Come on.
So a man like Brill has spent the last 15 years working out of a Faraday cage in an abandoned building somewhere. I think maybe it's like off Baltimore somewhere.
See, it's Baltimore, yeah.
He is an incredibly paranoid person. If you kind of take the movie as the spiritual sequel to The Conversation, you can imagine this guy is like turbo paranoid about the surveillance state, and he is living way off the grid. So to him, this whole thing is like just some mega ruse to try and catch him, right? And I like that. I like that he doesn't just immediately trust him. They have a bit of back and forth, and it takes a while for them to kind of develop a rapport and start trusting each other. Not until quite a lot later in the movie, after Will has unfortunately brought the NSA down on Brill's hideout, which he calls the Jar.
And even before that, Will Smith and I nearly call him Gene Simmons there, Gene Hackman. Can you imagine a film with fucking Gene Simmons in the Gene Hackman role? That's an entire other story. It's like just Gene Simmons trying to be low key with like his makeup and just sticking his massively long tongue out in multiple opportunities. Of course, that kind of real getting to know each other kind of sequence is during the incredibly chaotic hotel scene, right? The whole chase through the hotel and stuff like that. And so they are kind of getting to know each other as this. Mike, is your connection okay? You and Sunny are both black screens now.
Mine's good.
Mine's fine.
I can see you too.
Yeah, so you can see us all. Failed to start camera.
Yeah, I've got you.
It says failed to start camera, lads. The NSA is after us.
I've got you visual and audio.
Yeah, same. Okay. You're very clear and present.
I'm not sure I believe that, Eds. This is how
Listen here.
This is how the fucking alphabet boys get right. So obviously there's that amazing whole sequence of scenes in the hotel when he's gradually stripping the tracking devices out of him. He removes the other one from his shoe. He gets the other one from his pen. He tells him to throw away the watch that he got from his wife, but obviously it's not the one he got from his wife because it's the one that they've replaced with a bug. He's up on the roof.
In your phone was a GPS sat tracker. Pulses at 24 gigahertz.
I don't know what that means.
It's like a low jack, only 2 generations better than what the police have.
And what does that mean?
You speak English?
Obviously not that well.
Kind of a jerk, aren't you? It means the NSA can read the time off your fucking wristwatch.
All right, enough of this bullshit. Right now, you either shoot me or tell me what the fuck is going on.
That gets thrown off. There's the helicopter involved. And then he has to get the one out of his trousers, which involves him going into that hotel room with the elderly Japanese family and doing a bit of a striptease, which is brilliant.
I love that bit. That's so good.
Which is absolute 1990s chaos.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
She immediately gets out a bundle of wands as well, like she's about to tip him.
It's amazing. She's going to start making it rain, man. It's like, fitties, punnets. There's this excellent scene when he's seeing the op center guy who's monitoring his movements. He's going up, he's in the elevator kind of thing, and they're kind of directing the Goon squad to come and take him out. He ends up kind of in the hotel cleaning closet that catches fire.
Yep.
And is rescued by firefighters. And that's just all a set of brilliant action set pieces that don't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, no, that's great. And that's the average shot length. There's like 2 seconds, but it's great.
Wild.
It's wild. It's frenetic, but you don't lose geography of what's happening. I really like that. You know exactly where he is in the hotel. You see him getting down like that. It also has one of the best bits of the three. I'm going to call them the 3 nerd Greek chorus, which is Seth Green. When he jumps down from the 16th floor to the 15th floor, like he has this nice little delivery of him being like kind of incredulous and impressed. He goes like, no, he's on the 15th floor. He's just jumped down. He's on the 15th floor. He's like delighted. He's like delighted at what's happened. It's so good.
You do get the impression that these guys have some good job satisfaction, the Goon squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they enjoy the job. Fucking Jack Black loves his job in the film, and he's very excited to be around women who don't shave their legs.
Jack Black, on more than one occasion, requisitions a satellite before he's been allowed to, just so he can go, already done it, sir.
Like, it's wild, right? There's zero fucking oversight. I love it. Then we see them making their escape. Will Smith's character makes the mistake of making a phone call from a payphone at the garage stopper. Now, contextually, looking back at filmmaking from the 80s and 90s, I think the fact that they tapped into a payphone to listen to him is more shocking and surprising to a 1990s audience, because when you look at films like No Way Out, when Yuri is using a payphone to speak to his handler, kind of orthodoxy in thriller storytelling at this point was like more or less payphones are safe. So like the fact that he's picked up like instantly using a payphone is probably more surprising to a 90s audience than it is to like us a few nights ago when I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Fucking course they did, right? They've got like half of the spy satellites in the Western Hemisphere now following this man, and you know, the NSA can read the time off your fucking wristwatch. Well, now they can, they just hack into it via Bluetooth. Topical. Then they end up at the Faraday cage base that he has as Cat's introduced. It's always nice to see cat representation in a film as a cat dad.
Love a good cat movie. Babe the
absolutely.
Cat.
Babe the Cat.
One of the unrealistic things that happens in this movie is that Will Smith puts Babe the cat into a small hole, and the cat just lets that happen.
Yeah, the cat's just absolutely cool with it. It's like, no, that would not happen. Ellie would go fucking ape shit. I'd be running after her, fucking shouting at her, calling her a bimbo and telling her to get into the bag. You know,
because the cat would get into the bag on its own terms, but if you put the cat in the bag, it's like no. Wide mode, engaged, and then just splays the legs out.
I mean, but maybe the cat's been given extensive training. Maybe Brill's got like a lot of experience in training cats how to do.
Get Babe in the go bag. now.
Babe, they go back now, and like the cat's ready. The cat's like fucking strapping on like a gun belt with a sidearm. It's like prepping a bandolier of 40mm grenades. You know, it runs over out of the M79 he's got in the corner, and it's headbutting it. He's like, "That's not the time. We don't need to go loud just yet, babe." Incredible scenes. We need more cats of espionage. Then they escape as the Goon squad are on top of them. There's the line.
What the hell is happening? I blew up the building. Why? Because you made a phone call.
Which people talk about as being one of the best quotes of the film, but I think, well, it's good. The film's got some bangers that are way better than that.
Yeah, it's good because you're like...
Yeah, it is good because like it shows just how willing to go scorched earth on everything Brill is, because that's how he survived.
It's like Heat.
Like Heat, yeah. Don't get attached to something that you can't run out on in 30 seconds. If you heat around the corner, yeah. I could never not be attached to a cat though, and he's attached to Babe. He can't abandon the cat. So he's.
He only lets Will Smith into the car when he shows he has Babe.
Exactly, it's amazing. It's like, listen, motherfucker. And then there's this excellent chase scene with the trains and the driving between the trains, and you've got the gunfight when Will Smith's shooting the other vehicle with a shotgun, and it's like, yes, it's class. Every chase scene in this film, I think, is really well choreographed, and they're put together with really creative kind of ideas and themes behind them and stuff. There's great moments of tension in it, and it's exciting, and that's my opinion of that particular chase scene.
Another cool thing about that is Tony Scott. The next movie he would do after this would be Spy Game, and both of these involve him blowing up a building just to kind of make a point in an action sequence.
Yeah,
and it works. It works both times. Like, you're like really impressed. It's a really good demolition. Looks amazing. I'm gonna dive in again and tell you something that changes between this and the screenplay. This chase sequence involving the train yard kind of happens, but much later in the movie. So the next thing that happens after this bit in the actual movie we were watching is they regroup. They have that conversation about how, like the Viet Cong, we've got to use our weaknesses as strengths to our enemies' size and slowness against them, even though they're not slow, but fine. Well, they do that, and the way they do that in the screenplay, and it's not as good as the movie actually, to be fair, is similar stuff. So they set up a bunch of buggings that can then be easily unveiled, and because the tech they're using is the same tech that Will's been done with already, it is super advanced, therefore only NSA held, so therefore it implicates the NSA for doing the buggings, which brings some heat and light from other government departments onto the NSA and the senator who wants to get this telecommunications intelligence gathering surveillance bill passed through the House. All that happens as the main effort for the rest of the movie, and then right towards the end, Reynolds' guys as a last-ditch attempt to try and stop it on its tracks, as they send, they kind of call the police in, or the police get called in after a break-in at, I want to say, Krista, which is the mistress of the senator's apartment. Yes. Yeah. So the police get called in on there, which is, I think, the location that Will Smith was watching the meet from in the movie, but it's really unclear. There's a pursuit. The police follow. Brill and Smith are in a car, just like in the previous scene. They're driving around some back alleys. There's a train station and train lines and cargo trains adjacent. And what happens is they try and make a final jump to get away from a police car to clear a small wall by using the ramp off the back of a flatbed. Yeah. They get a little bit of airtime, but it's not enough. They crash. Car gets absolutely totaled. Hackman is like bleeding out and dying in the car. Dean manages to get out of the car. Smith manages to get out of the car. In so doing, because they've crashed into like a train car full of coal, a load of coal floods into the car. So now the car is like full of like leaking petrol, and it's full of coal as well. The police roll up. Some of Reynolds' goons immediately kill the police, and they start like looking in the boot of the car because they still mistakenly believe that they have the tape. Dean's making his escape. So in order they're about to shift tack away from the car and start pursuing Dean and trying to kill Dean. And in order to prevent that, Gene Hackman's character presses the cigarette lighter in the car, causing it to immediately explode and kill the goons, which is badass as fuck. But
that is false. Yeah.
But that is not in the movie. That is just on the screenplay. Really, really random. But then what happens after that is the FBI just come and arrest the Reynolds, and that just ends like a real damn squib.
Yeah, that goes from badass to nothing. I do like an ending in which Gene Hackman's character survives as well. I do like that he got his Hawaii escape. This then takes us into the scene when they kind of begin turning the tables on the NSA, and they set up that meeting, don't they, when Brill like meets John Voight's character, and and
chain link
Brill's
fence.
Yeah, chain link fence and stuff, and it's been filmed and it's been recorded, and it's all he's recording a conversation, just like in that one film called The Conversation. Have you noticed how there's two scenes in this film when someone says this conversation is over?
Yes. Oh, right. So the other one is Rachel Banks, Will Smith scene in the park, which is like a shot, but not shot for shot, not by a long shot, but
it's thematically very similar too.
Visually quite similar to like that conversation at the start of the conversation.
Yeah, conversation. Yeah, I think that itself is a brilliant fucking scene as well. Like when the coordinating the
extras, the costume disguised spies there with the microphones and stuff.
And it shows they've got the dramatic, massive overview, right? They've got like the macro view of things. They've got these keyhole satellites. They can maneuver in a place at a second's notice. But it increases the stakes and makes it a bit harder for the bad guys by having the whole, this is like a unidirectional mic kind of thing. You've got to be pointing the right way. You've got to be near them kind of thing. And when like you get down to kind of like the very kind of like micro rather than macro level of it, it still adds this great bit of tension and great bit of thriller storytelling when they're doing this kind of very low-paced pursuit, I guess you can call it, and they're trying to get a good read with the microphones. It's not perfect, it doesn't work perfectly, and of course one aspect of the conversation's plot is a imperfect audio recording, right? I mean, that's like a major thing about the conversation in general.
What I also like about this scene, right, and really well handled in the movie, that you don't see it coming, that this whole thing is like a multi-level ruse by Brill and Dean to get Reynolds to incriminate himself more fully. So they're doing it in the first place because they haven't got the recording. So they want to they want to record him talking about the contents of the recording in order to create essentially new leverage. And that doesn't initially work in the initial 4 minutes. For the building gets stormed and they're on the run. They get caught pretty much immediately. And then they wind up in the back of the Free Nerd Squad van. And again, I think this is really clever. So they're still trying to get Reynolds to incriminate himself because I think they still start recording stuff. I think it's Brill who very subtly presses some stuff in the van and starts recording what's going on in the van.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and it's good because it comes back later at the very end of the movie. So he starts up recording, and they still try and get Reynolds to incriminate himself, which he doesn't quite do. And then, in order to kind of move things along a bit, Dean tells him, oh, actually, the tape is at this restaurant, Tom Sizemore's restaurant. And then he sets up, I think, and this is when Hackman's like, you're either incredibly smart.
We'll see in a minute.
He sets up this like Mexican standoff where you've got two parties who are both very interested in our tape. They are not talking about which tape they're talking about.
Exactly, it's brilliant.
Very excited to kill each other in order to secure possession of this tape that neither of them have, and neither of them,
exactly.
Sizemore has a tape that Reynolds doesn't want. Reynolds doesn't have a tape that Sizemore wants. Just like what?
It's fantastic. It's brilliant.
He's your friend. You persuade him to give us the tape. Hey, look. Number one, he's not my friend. And number two, it's not his tape. Whose is it? It's mine. Okay? It's mine. I bought it. You sold it to him? Now you listen to me.
Who are you? What the fuck you trying to do to me?
Oh, this looks bad.
I'm with the federal government. Oh, the federal government made a videotape?
You guys ought to get in there.
Wait a minute, listen. Now we can go get a warrant, come back with the FBI, take anything we want, arrest anybody that we want. Just give the man the videotape.
Hey, the only one gonna get arrested here is you for felonious cocksucking with an attempt to swallow the evidence, so shut your mouth.
It's old school trickery. I love it. It's brilliant.
I don't know who's at it. The only credited screenwriter is still Dominic Marconi. He was the guy who did the initial draft as well. He was cool for the one I read, but I'd like to think maybe this is like a Tony Gilroy inclusion. It has his kind of feel about it.
It does, doesn't it? It does. I like just subtle things I like when characters are written as doing really smart things that are believable in their roles as like intelligence kind of guys. Like how Brill gets himself let out of the van long enough for the FBI who are monitoring the building to say, oh, that's a city cop and he's bleeding. And that like really perks their attention up and stuff like that. And it's like, I like that. That's fucking really cool.
I also like what he does in the back of the van, gets the other two goons, like Jack Black and the other one, to run into the building because just by just like, you got to go in there. You got to go in there. It's happening. It's happening now. You got to get in there. You got to just like goads them into leaving, because these are like the tech nerds. They're not like, frontline field guys, but he's going to goad them into doing it.
Yeah, like they're not like operations dudes, and he makes them go loud. He makes them get the fuck in there, and it's like, this guy is a hell of a fucking operator, dude. This guy knows how to task people who work in the intelligence community to pretty much instantly do something that's going to put their safety at massive risk,
Yeah.
I mean, it's Jack Black. He can't fight. I mean, he'll just go like, yeah, and just be noisy and like, yeah. He's like, yeah, nobody has the tape. The legend of the tape.
The story of the tape was way
hardcore. Fucking like Brill kicks him out of the van. He's like, how can you throw me out of what is mine?
It's so good. So they're having that moment where they've got the standoff going on, and I think it's Jake Busey who runs in like from the back once they've all figured out, oh shit, it's all going to go down.
And it's amazing. It's so good. Fucking Jake Busey comes in with his MP5, and he's trying to get into what's either flanking position or like a full-on enfilade position when he's just got absolute fucking force majeure at this point. But he just runs past this elderly Italian line cook without even thinking this elderly Italian man might have a fucking short-barreled old school side-by-side shotgun. And he does, and he connects him to God's Wi-Fi very, very quickly.
Yeah, he is
causing a massive gunfight.
In my mind, I was watching it. I was thinking, like, is this the movie? There's a movie like this where there's a Mexican standoff kind of brewing, where someone goes, "Oh fuck," because they know it's about to go down. Like someone's about to start shooting. I can't remember what movie that is. It's bothering me now, like because it's like a trope, but there's definitely like a movie where a whole bunch of people are in a standoff and one person knows someone else is about to start shooting, and they go, "Oh fuck!" But I can't think what movie it is. But it'll come back to me later.
I also excitedly jumped out of my seat because one of the mob guys had a VZ61 Scorpion machine pistol, and I always get excited when I see a VZ61. It's one of the things that I'll always quickly point at the screen and go, VZ61, because I'm a big fan of technology. I'm a certified technologist. Because I also get pissy when like VZ61s are shown as like firing a massive amount of like, ammunition off before being reloaded, because like the magazine's tiny and the cyclic fire rate's very high. So like it boils my piss when someone's like rocking and rolling with the VZ61 without reloading for ages. It's like the magazine is tiny. What a standoff, what a gunfight, what an absolute. It just wipes out a significant amount of the worst people in the film, and it's excellent. And it's just great performances again by just an incredibly sweaty Tom Sizemore. He's sweatier than Papa John Schnatter in that video Papa John did when they were trying to push him out of his own company a few years ago. When he's like, nobody knows pizzas like me. I've eaten 35 pizzas in the last 30 days, and he's just like aggressively sweaty.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. He has no pizza experience. The day of reckoning will come.
Like he looks like he's becoming pepperoni. and Tom Sizemore's been fucking brilliant in this. Every appearance is in his class because he's like Fat Tony from The Simpsons. Like, what's a truck?
It's sorry guys, it's Tombstone. It's Tombstone. The gunfight at the Oka Corral, and it's Kurt Russell goes, "Oh my god, oh, Jesus Christ!"
Yes, yes.
Right, wasn't sure I was going to get there. Sorry,
you did.
Right, Tom Sizemore, right, in this movie,
brilliant.
Is like throwing down so much pasta. And like the thing they always tell you when they're shooting movies is like, people, if you watch TV and movies, when people are eating, they'll get like the tiniest morsel of food on their fork, and they'll cut it and they'll cut it and they'll cut it, and then eventually after like 10 lines they'll put a tiny little bit in. But like this whole movie, Sizemore was like just belt feeding pasta. He's sweaty. He's like, his hair's greasy. He's got those two little fat kids with him, and he's like, sorry, harsh to those kids. but he's like, eat your food. Do you like your food? It's good food. Eat your food. Blah, 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 blah. Eat your food. Uncle Paul's gonna take you to the zoo. Get out of here. Blah, 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 blah. You're coming to my restaurant. Blah, blah, blah. It's just so fucking good. And then what the fuck?
Tony Scott is a fucking Tony Scott is a fucking hero in this house.
Oh man, so good.
he's incredible. He's the goat in the film. He's mid.
Uncredited, because of his ongoing legal problems that we discussed last time, probably sadly. But yeah, uncredited.
Probably uncredited,
Mental.
but it's like he's just amazing. He has 2 scenes that he's sitting. No, he has 3 scenes because the third one is pictured in the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
In all of these scenes, he's sitting down. There is no walking done in this film by him. He's just sitting down. He may not even have anything on under that suit jacket and the shirt.
Yeah, his two actual
he may
scenes.
Be Donald ducking it. Yeah. So it's 2 actual scenes. He's sitting at a table.
That table in that restaurant.
And like the other scene is like when he's like pictured in like the video that's evidence when he's shown at the start when he's sitting by the pool with someone. It was a very like kind of how can someone do a Steven Seagal-esque move of shooting all your scenes sitting down and still be so fucking cool? I guess it's because he's a cool guy.
After that, wrapping up the movie, I suppose you get one shot of the aftermath of like the first responders on the scene and stuff, and they're getting these guns out of here, all that kind of stuff. Get Will Smith out of here. He's not one of them. They figure that out straight away, which is really nice. You know, I'm not sure that would happen in the current police climate these days with racism and so on. And then you get a shot of Jack Black, all bloody, looking really sad in a gurney, going to hospital, which is just like, you piece of shit. That's for getting all those satellites. Twat, deserve it. And then you get what I was talking about earlier on, which is they cut to Langley. It's Jamie Kennedy and Jack Black getting interviewed together. It might be FBI actually, but I read online that it was Langley, and now I'm confused. I thought it was FBI, but they might have gone to Langley instead, because apparently they granted the movie access to Langley, Virginia. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, Brill starts the recording of all that stuff in the van.
Yeah.
But then Jack Black takes credit for setting that recording going. And then he says that, and then they both stay stum and stick to the defense that they thought it was a simple standard training op.
Yeah, standard training op, yeah.
Can I just ask the question of how naive do you have to be to really believe that the multi-million-dollar effort to track this one guy down over Baltimore over the last week has been a standard training op?
Yeah, I mean, significant amount of blood and treasure being used on the standard training op. Those keyhole satellites could have been surveilling any number of viable enemies of the state. I mean, on a kind of state actor level, you know? They could have been surveilling the Natanz nuclear facility. They could have been, even if the ones easily accessible above the US could have been, say, I don't know, surveilling the cartels in Latin America or whatever, because they're a clear and present danger to these United States.
Indeed, they are a clear and present danger to these United States. What about the nuclear disarmament facilities at Dereshnyaya? I mean,
Dereshnyaya, man, fucking hell, you see. Can I say as well? This film was only 3 years after the absolute mess that was Op Center.
What? You know, that's
36 fucking months after Op Center, which was just
which shows you how stylish, and this movie holds up, right? You know, I made a few comments about the title sequence at the beginning, which is a little bit
yeah.
It's a bit like you wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie, actually, once you're into its rhythm, is really stylish and holds up.
Enemy of the State massively holds up, which is something to kind of, I don't know, mull on, I guess, because this is a period when the whole idea, right, in lots of properties from this time is that America has no enemies. Space Above and Beyond, which also came out around this time. And this is a really deep cut, but obviously Space Above and Beyond, if you're significantly cooler than me and have had a much more exciting life and aren't a massive screaming artist, was a single season military sci-fi series made in I think 95 by Glenn Morgan and James Wong and some other people involved with the X-Files. And obviously it follows a group of young recruits to the United States Marine Corps Space Aviators. It's fucking cool. And there's this scene when they get thinned out at the start by Gunnery Sergeant played by Arlie Ermy, and he's asking one of the characters why they joined, and she's like, I want to defend the Earth. He's like, why? We have no enemies. And it's that was the zeitgeist at the time, wasn't it? That was the feeling America was the feeling that America didn't really have enemies at the time. The Cold War's over. Mm-hmm. You've got things like clear and present danger showing that the enemies are in fact non-state actors. There's no real kind of state actor enemy of the US, so which is why the enemies are internal and they're on a smaller level, I think.
Yeah, there was definitely the prevailing notion that they'd put Saddam Hussein back in his box, and then for the next 10 years, we're just going to get ourselves involved in everybody else's conflict as the world's police.
Absolutely, like it's like kind of post Bosnia. This is when America has like becoming the world's police force. You've got both politically and in terms of like the fiction that it creates, it's missing its big major enemy, the Soviets. You've got to like wonder, it's like, well, this surveillance state has got to justify itself somehow. So they're going to read the time on your fucking wristwatch, you know?
And of course, what would then jolt America and the world, I suppose, back into kind of a reality check would be 9/11. And then aggressive swing the other way with the global war on terror and some pretty dodgy intelligence, which has brought, the Western Hemisphere into a war that maybe didn't have a legitimate legal basis for.
Yes.
That's not, hashtag chill court inquiry.
The British government.
Yeah.
That's Saddam Hussein.
Sort quantities of uranium from Africa. Yes. Sing along. Second verse, same as the first.
Follow the bouncing ball, everybody. British government. There we go.
British government has learned that Saddam Hussein recently sought significant quantities of uranium from Africa.
Copyright strike.
Oh, wow. That's one to go in the show notes. Should we take a break and do some categories?
Absolutely. Let's take a quick break, quick musical interlude, and then we'll come back with some categories.
First of all, we've talked a lot about casting throughout the movie, but we'll go through the casting bit because there's yet more to discuss. So ordinarily, I like to roll through some of the good that guys and that ladies who have been in the movie. In this case, we've talked about a few of them already. So we've already talked about Tom Sizemore and his uncredited role as the mobster Pintaro, I think his name is. Awesome. Yeah. We talked about Barry Pepper as David Pratt, who was the sniper in Pacific Private Ryan. We talked about Jake Busey. We mentioned Dan Butler earlier on, who's the Rear Admiral Schaefer, who was also Bulldog in Frasier. A couple of ones that we haven't mentioned already. For one scene only, we get Philip Baker Hall as one of the partners at Robert Clayton Dean's law firm.
That's the scene when Will Smith's getting thinned out and sacked, right?
That's right. He has that big outburst, and then he's like, "So what? You going to fire him?" And he's like, and then Philip Baker Hall's like, "I think you just fired yourself." So he's great.
I'd see to quickly get technical for a second and say that I fucking really love the sound design on that scene. Just that natural reverb and echo, like it adds so much to the scene, and it's like, oh my god, that's like, and I'm watching the film, my wife, I'm like, holy fuck, that echo, man, that reverb, it's beautiful. It's like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck am I married?
It's when he raises his voice.
You ever beat off in the shower, Brian? You ever have any homosexual thoughts?
Bobby, that is
none of my fucking business. You're damn right it's not.
All that stuff, and it's like
class.
Room noise, yeah, great.
That's fucking brilliant. It's like it just gives you the confidence that this was recorded in that goddamn room. No re-records, no overdubs. Absolute fucking cinema.
Some more casting then from this good movie. So again, you probably only see her for about two scenes. Anna Gunn plays Reynolds' wife. Anna Gunn, you may know more Skylar White in Breaking Bad.
That's right.
Also, we have Grant Heslov, who's primarily producer, but has got quite a lot of acting credits in his name as well. He's worked with George Clooney a lot, and his last big acting role was as Doc Danica in the 2020 Catch-22 miniseries. But he's also Faisal in True Lies, and he's also Carfaith in Seinfeld. He's the guy in the movie who's the editor at the newspaper.
He had one of the best lines in True Lies when he's talking about some terrorist guy. He like delivers a saying Charlton Heston about this like terrorist. It's like they call him the Sand Spider, and Charlton Heston's like, why? He's like, probably because it sounds scary, sir. And it's like, yeah, that guy's class. True Lies, what a film.
I'd like to take you now on a journey. Well, let me offer you a choice. I have in my left hand the blue pill, and in the right hand the red pill. And if you take the blue pill, you'll go back to your ordinary life. This podcast never happened. If you take the red pill, you get to join with me and find out how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I'm obviously going for the red pill.
Of course you are, guys. Right. Okay, so here we...
Like,
peer pressure,
I am
peer
literally
pressure,
doing it.
peer pressure. You're okay.
Can I get a glass of water with a pill?
No.
What happens if I take both pills?
In the words of Robbie Williams in the song Rude Box, one of the worst songs ever written by a human.
In the words of Robin Williams in the song Rude Box.
Take both pills, fuck the Matrix.
Oh,
Jack
God.
those Jills, something else.
Like so many movies in the latter half of the 1990s, Tom Cruise was initially in line to play Robert Clayton Dean, but had to pull out because production on Eyes Wide Shut overran. I don't know how well you know this, but Eyes Wide Shut famously tortured production under Stanley Kubrick, known for his insane shooting style of doing like a zillion takes for the most simple of scenes, like 82 shots of Tom Cruise shutting a door behind him and walking through a room, that kind of thing. Shoot went on for 15 months. He was contractually obliged to remain with the production, so he had to turn down about 15 jobs. Of course, on that movie, it was his wife, Nicole Kidman, and this movie had an obliterating effect on his marriage. So we're in this amazing place where he could have been reunited with Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, just a big walking cocaine-fueled party. And Tony Scott, a la Top Gun and Days of Thunder, could have made that movie, reseated himself in this great stage of action cinema a little bit earlier, but in a stage where he was still taking on interesting new projects. Could have done that, but instead, no, he's stuck in Pinewood Studios with this megalomaniac auteur doing, like, again, dozens of takes of him walking through a room after closing a door, and then he's having these exhausting scenes where he's arguing with his actual wife, with these really intense arguments, and then, as you can imagine, like Tom Cruise after this, something snaps in him, and his next movie, Mission Impossible 2, the worst Mission Impossible movie. And then, like, for the next, like, fucking 10, 15 years, apart from some swings from 2001 to 2005, where he did some really interesting stuff, but it all goes horribly wrong. Not all of it, some of it goes horribly wrong. Vanilla Sky, great movie, wasn't that successful. Minority Report, great movie, was successful. But War of the Worlds, pretty good movie, not successful. So on and so on and so on. Has a really, really bad time. And then just does Mission Impossible movies for like ages. And Jesus Christ. So that's one thing. That's the start of the rabbit hole. Next one, bit of a zag. We all know that Will Smith turned down the role of Neo in The Matrix so that he could play the role of John West, desperado, rough rider, you don't want this nada, in Wild Wild West. Little known fact, the backup for Gene Hackman's character Brill in this movie was going to be Sean Connery. And Sean Connery turned down the role of Morpheus in The Matrix. So we could have had Tom Cruise opposite Sean Connery in this movie.
Brill with the Scottish accent, obviously. He wouldn't have
obviously,
pretended in the slightest to be American. It's like, I was on the borders of Iraq and Iran, selling weapons with my partner. You know, it's nuts. It's like, I blew up a building because you made a phone call.
You're kind of an asshole, aren't you? You can see Connery doing this pretty well. Like, did he tell you his name was Brill, or did you say it and then he ran with it? You can kind of hear him doing that because he does a lot of scolding in this movie, and Sean Connery's pretty good at scolding people in movies.
Few people scold like Sean Connery. Few people can fully scold you. It's one of the best things about the scenes in Meteor when he just abuses people. He just berates people. He's good at that.
So, we're not finished. Digging deeper with my rabbit hole trowel. Also, at this time, Will Smith turned down a role in Brian De Palma's Snake Eyes. So, I had a look at that one and said, if not Nicolas Cage, who was in Snake Eyes, who could it have been? And I found Kevin Costner and Tom Cruise again, and also Mel Gibson for the role of Nick Santoro in that movie. But then we could have had Tom Cruise working with De Palma again, right after doing Mission, and then maybe his marriage isn't ruined. So, yeah, more, with a circle and a circle, with a wheel within a wheel. Next, digging deeper. Okay. Also considered for the role of Robert Clayton Dean, Sylvester Stallone. Not touching that. Right, next one.
Why is he considered for all these roles he's eminently fucking unsuited as? He was considered for Jack Ryan. He was considered for fucking Jack Ryan in Hunt for October. He would be bad at it. He's not a bad actor by any means, but he's not believable as, for a start, a labour lawyer because he's just far too gabagool. He's far too forget about it. He's not believable as a guy who's involved in legal tussles between workers and their corrupt unions for a start. If he's in this film, he's sitting fucking next to Tom Sizemore, also aggressively eating pasta. Just eating like he has a fork in each hand. He's like, forget about it. Forget about it.
Hey, don't you know who you're talking to? Do you want me to shut this mook up? Something like that,
Yeah, basically, he's not working as a lawyer of any kind. Not believable in this film.
Agreed. Also considered for Robert Clayton Dean. Here we go. Keanu Reeves. So now we have a situation where we could have had Tom Cruise in Snake Eyes, Nick Cage temporarily out of the job for those 3 weeks out of that year. Keanu Reeves as Robert Clayton Dean, reprising a similar kind of role to, well, not really, but he did. What did he do around this time? Devil's Advocate, where he was a lawyer, but he was Southern for some reason. But he might have done a weird swing there. Who knows? But a lawyer on the run. Okay, could have had, instead of Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, could have had Sean Connery as Morpheus and had Will Smith as Neo. Like the possibilities are endless.
If you take HP.
Right, okay, and here's the one that's really going to bring it all together. Okay, right, I did some digging, and back in The Fugitive in 1993, considered for the role of Samuel Gerard was Gene Hackman. So Gene Hackman could have returned to that role in US Marshals in 1998, making him unavailable for any of the state, therefore forcing Sean Connery.
Holy shit, dude.
So what I'm trying to say to you is that if you believe in the many worlds theory, I think in this rare occasion we've landed on a pretty good one. And things could have been so much worse. The only real casualty here is Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman's marriage, but I think they've made it work. So
I think at this point you've officially knocked Harry Turtledove off the top spot when it comes to historical fiction authors. Holy shit, Mike, that was some great work. I am wilding out at these dark and concerning possibilities.
Call me Pandora, you'll look at my box. Shall we move on to our favorite quotes of the movie?
Oh yes.
Oh god, yes.
Immediately at the beginning. Just, are you blackmailing me, you ambitious shit?
Really good.
So fucking good. My favourite one. The only person under arrest here is you for felonious cocks. Quadrory dude for Italy. The only person under fucking hell. The only person under arrest here is you for the only person under arrest here is you for felonious cocksucking and attempting to swallow the evidence.
That's disgusting.
That's Tom Sizemore, angel in heaven, you fucking king.
One from Brill. When they hijack that guy's car after the train yard chase, he just shoots a shotgun into the air, hijacks the car. The guy, understandably, is protesting it. He just throws him out into the car into the street and just yells, "Tell your story walking," and then slams the car door.
Tell your story walking. I love that, man.
So good. And another one for Dan Butler, it's a little bit longer, but Dan Butler, who plays Rear Admiral Schaefer, when they're having the meeting, the NSA, to try and get to the bottom of what the fuck is going on, he hits the table. Listen, people, everyone knows where this is going. If this was a legit op, and I can't imagine how it could be, then so be it. But if this was someone's unilateral wet dream, then that someone is going to prison.
Unilateral wet dream.
Wet dream. Great band name.
Oh my God. Yeah. So many absolute all-timer quotes in this film. Like you said, I can't find/remember the actual wording of it, but one of the NSA guys says, "What's it going to take? Buildings to come down before people take this seriously?" And it's like, hello 9/11. And of course, the bad guy's date of birth
Is 9/11.
I mean, you caught that, right? Crazy.
There's another 9/11 adjacent thing in the original screenplay where they talk about, I think it's in the initial argument. Here we go. So Reynolds is having that argument with Hammersley on the park bench, and he says, "There are planes falling out of the sky, buildings blowing up, American buildings, Americans getting bombs in their mail. What are we going to do?"
When you look at things that predicted 9/11, man, it's like, the Lone Gunman, the X-Files
spin-off
series. Episode 1 of The Lone Gunman involves the remote control hijacking of an airliner to fly it into the World Trade Center. This screened in March of 2001. I know there's things that kind of, you could say, hinted at it a little bit, referencing St. Thomas of Clancy's Codex, Debt of Honor, in which a Japanese airline pilot flies an airliner into the Capitol building as a kamikaze attack. Track on Busta Rhymes' album Extinction Level Event. I'm going to paraphrase it because I want to get fired from life, but I'm the kind of gentleman who will fly a plane into your building in the name of the law. And it's like this isn't a conspiracy theory podcast, but it's kind of like jigsaw identification, you know, like it's like why like the shit hot on that in the media. It's like why you gotta be very careful when you're reporting on victims of crime and stuff, because if one paper says that this victim of crime is a guy who lived on a street in East Hartford, but we're not going to give them his name. Then another paper says, you know, this victim who we won't say where he lived, but he worked at American Air Filters or whatever. Then it's like you can determine it like that. So I don't think these properties literally predicted 9/11, but I do think that they kind of tapped into maybe a feeling in like society that something big.
You know, should we hit some needle drops? There aren't that many. So I mentioned it earlier on. There's 6 Underground by Sticker Pimps. From the golden age of trip hop and trip hop adjacent music. The other trip hop adjacent act in this movie is more Chiba, and then the rest of the soundtrack, because the movie is a bit of a stealth Christmas movie in that they're doing Christmas shopping right at the start of it. Yeah, there's a fair amount of Christmas music in the movie as well, like rocking around the Christmas tree, that kind of stuff, which you don't really want to get into until it is Christmas for us also. Yeah. What I should say though is that the main score was it was going to be a Zimmer. But it became a Harry Gregson Williams, who people may know more for Metal Gear Solid. IMDb trivia. Again, I think we've hit some of this already. As I mentioned earlier on, the NSA did not support filming of the movie after some discussions backwards and forwards. Other interesting stuff. In October 2016, ABC announced that it had greenlit a TV series sequel with Bruckheimer on as executive producer. And the series would take place 2 decades after the original film. Where an elusive NSA spy is charged with leaking classified evidence, and an idealistic female attorney must partner with a hawkish FBI agent to stop a global conspiracy. But nothing came to fruition. Ultimately.
Whoa, that's actually fucking cool. I would watch that.
Yeah, it's network TV, so it would have been like sort of Blacklist kind of level, kind of fair, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, could have been good. Right, next category then. This is a really hard question, Sanye, and I don't know how you're going to answer it, but how would this have gone down in Germany?
I've been dreading this question all evening. So we do have varying different intelligence services that don't like each other and that do things they are not supposed to do every now and then. I think something made the news earlier this year or later last year with our federal intelligence services overstepping their boundaries a bit. But the whole murder violence shootout, it probably is not something that would happen here. I think that's something that works really only in the US, given that the US is very much more prone to general firearms use in the first place. They've got more lakes in that they can dump unwanted senators into, and they've got more policemen, federal agents, and whatnot with an itchy trigger finger. If you check the wiki page for lethal firearms use in Germany by police, etc., you'll find it's very fucking short. So I really don't see something like, especially that shootout at the end happening here ever. I think that would get everyone banned from having firearms indefinitely across several branches of government.
So if you're Robert Clayton Dean and you're on the back of that van, essentially what you're trying to do is orchestrate a giant bar brawl.
Basically.
Where's the tape? At the beer holler. It's at the
yes. It's like he's trying to fight the Bavarian branch of the Christian Conservative Party, who's trying to increase the amount of surveillance it can do on non-blonde people in Munich or something. Like, so what do you mean I am not allowed to access all your social media after you insulted Schnitzel?
This man said, what about Schlager music?
Oh nein, die touchen meine Lederhosen. Scheiße. I don't know. I am trying. I can see Bavaria, in fairness, has very far-reaching police laws, and that is an ongoing issue, because they keep expanding it. And we currently have discussions on whether police are allowed to use AI and on constant video tracking, monitoring, and facial recognition in train stations, etc. So that actually is a discussion that is ongoing. I think the US has just simply skipped that point. So Germany is possibly, in terms of surveillance, Germany is probably currently reaching the point that film was at several decades ago. I just don't see the police, I don't know, the Bavarian head of state dumping a local Green Party member into the Bodensee to get rid of his opinion.
I do really like the German title of the movie being, forgive my pronunciation, Der Staatsfeind Nummer 1. I really like that. Der Staatsfeind Nummer 1.
So we do enemies of the states, just we neatly sorted on a league table. You are merely of the council of enemies of the state, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
We do not grant you the rank of existential threat. Sadia, I'm going to do something that upsets you. 1 second, mate.
Also, I think the misalignment between the different government branches could be just because no one understands the Bavarian. No! Take it away! Take it away! Right, for the listeners, the resident Northumbrian is taunting me from his living room with the Bavarian flag.
Indeed, I have a tiny little Bavarian flag I took from a pub in Newcastle that was having an Oktoberfest celebration a couple of years ago. I'm waving it in a patriotic manner.
You know what Bavaria is also going to be good for? Like sort of German civil war. They always act like they want their own secession.
Jesus. So you're telling me there's a Bavexit movement, yeah?
Well, and once again, it's the South. Way down south in the land of traders, rattlesnakes, and alligators.
Oh my God. Union boys will win the battles.
Run away! Run away!
No. No. Should we, I really desperately want to move on.
Yes, we can see that in your face, kind of.
Rory, have you got some notes from the peanut gallery?
I do. For a start, it's difficult to kind of navigate through the reviews of this film on Letterboxd because a lot of them are just admittedly very correct. We live in a digital panopticon being followed all the time. This film is very prophetic. And while it's on point, it's also not super funny. So, I found some good ones. A true love letter to going on the computer. What a cast. An absolute stable of boys. It is. The feds are gang stalking me and trying to ruin my life. All these useless fucking updates for my phone are from the NSA. 3 exclamation marks. They want to spy on me more efficiently. They want to go through my gallery and see my dick pics and shit and watch me jerk off in 1080p. Well, fuck that. I'm not installing these updates, you motherfuckers. All capitals, fuck you. 4 exclamation marks. 3.5 stars, watched by Mark on the 5th of August 2022. With Jack Black, Seth Green, and Jamie Kennedy playing the worst douchebags you've ever met, this is every 90s film bro's worst nightmare. It is. It really is. John Voight essentially playing himself. Will Smith running and screaming through train yards, hotels, and streets. Jack Black, green and blue hues. We should be very lucky a movie like this exists. This film is not fictional, simply based on the implications. As time goes on, Enemy of the State has only proven to be more and more relevant. An exciting thriller with Scott's usual impressive all-star cast, humour, action, heart. R.I.P. Tom Sizemore and Tony Scott. Thanks for that very true romance-esque ending. To the NSA agent reading this now, even you got to understand that this film makes a pretty strong point. Asshole.
Amazing.
Tony Scott, you have to stop. You smoke too tough. Your swag too different. Your bitch is too bad. The NSA will kill you. Still kind of adorable that this film posits the two things the totalitarian might of the deep state cannot overcome are A, running, and B, a gabagool-coded Tom Sizemore. Absolutely brilliant. Tom Sizemore sweats out big bullets of cocaine in this. And there's one great review here. Just technology bad. 3.5 stars, watched by Faith on the 14th of May 2025. Fuel for the r/gang stalking crowd. The gang stalking subreddit is amazing, by the way.
What is the gang stalking subreddit?
Right. Okay.
I'm afraid to ask, but I need to know.
Yes, I am as well.
You know what? Okay, right. So listen, motherfucker. Let's go. I'm going to open it up now and just have it. Basically, so gang stalking is this very, very online belief that people are targeted individuals. That's a phrase and name that they use. Targeted individual, or TI, who are being stalked by multiple people in these kind of like organized operations just to stalk them to make their life hell, that kind of thing. A lot of it's just untreated mental health and stuff. He has a post here. Every time I leave my house, there are feds watching me. They are in hats and sunglasses like this, and they're stalking me. They pretend they're shopping in the store, but every time I look around, I can see them near me. And there's like a picture of just a trucker hat and some sunglasses.
That's like the Frigoli delusion, where people believe a whole bunch of different people or one person.
The comments here are great. This sub is so good. Rusty Shackleford looking some bitch. It's summer, everyone looks like this, not at all what the feds wear to be undercover. I would definitely start wearing the identical hat and sunglasses. These people believe that they're being targeted and followed for whatever reason. There's a post here when a guy's like just literally taking a photo of a guy parked. It looks like this guy's parked at a welcome to an episode of Rory reads your descriptions of images he looks at on the screen. This guy, there's a guy who looks like a total hoss in the driver's seat of a vehicle. It appears to be parked up at some kind of drive-through because there's a menu behind him. He's wearing a trucker hat, a beard. I'm not looking in a mirror. He's flipping the bird to the photographer, and the subject of the post is "Cops are definitely in on it." I never really believed the police was in on my harassment. I did see them follow me, but I just thought it was a quiescence. I think it means coincidence. But today I woke up in 24-hour fitness parking lot and I could hear a couple of guys laughing as they throw rocks at my truck. When I got up, I see 2 cops to my left laughing. It's wild and I see why some people have a hard time believing it. But it's true. Don't call them. It's a waste of time. Also, I would have took pics. I'm not going to lie. I didn't want any interactions with them or them to ask why I'm taking pics.
Deeply sad. Shall we do the ML Kua, MD Kua, MH Kua of the movie?
Absolutely.
For people who haven't listened to this before, this is the military terminology we use when we're developing analysis of the OP4 opposing forces courses of action available to them. So you have your most likely course of action, your most dangerous course of action, and in our case, we also have the most hilarious course of action. But I tend to use it as what would happen after the movie's events have taken place. So for me, the ML Kua I've come up with is Robert Clayton Dean returns to his law firm, makes partner within 12 months as the firm are concerned about pissing off their best employment law litigator right after wrongfully dismissing him. He and Carla are fine because she seemingly has mild brain damage throughout the movie. We didn't really talk about that, but her character is like all over the place. She starts off really strong, anti-fash, and then she's like, I missed you, so I put on the lingerie. What? She was like really angry at him. Anyway, Brill remains hidden out somewhere sunny. Lamentably, it's probably going to be in the Far East. Jack Black goes to prison and is required to pay back the US Treasury the cost of all the times he requisitioned a satellite before given command approval to do so. Most dangerous course of action. With Reynolds dead, there was a gap to be filled at the NSA, and incredibly, Jack Black becomes the new deputy director of the National Security Agency. Despite his flagrant misuse of government property, he is worse than Reynolds and eventually seeks the top job, and late in his career, he orchestrates the false flag assassination attempt on President Trump during his 2024 re-election campaign.
Coming in hot.
Whoa!
Sanya,
Allegedly. And then I haven't written a most hilarious course of action, but I'm hoping you have.
So, the signs for ongoing hilarity are shown in the closing beats of the film, when Dean's son is shown to be a Warhammer nerd, a big old Warhammer nerd. He's reading White Dwarf magazine, he's looking at pictures of high elf miniatures and stuff. Robert Clayton Dean realises that with his son's increasing desire for more and more very expensive Warhammer miniatures and Games Workshop products in general, being a high-flying lawyer simply won't cut it. Things are getting far too expensive. The price creep. I was there at the time. The price creep of these things wasn't as crazy, right? So he realizes there's one way he can make more money than being a lawyer. He goes back to stripping for elderly Japanese families. He starts making a huge amount of money, but it gets harder. It gets more difficult. Games Workshop bring out more and more new editions of the games that he's got to buy in on. A new edition of 40k, a new edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, one-offs like Blood Bowl come out. He's like, shit, what do I do? Stripping for 2 or 3 elderly Japanese women and the husbands at a time won't cut it. He moves to Hokkaido, gets involved in a grimy, illegal Hokkaido donkey show ring, and he ends his days hilariously, but sadly, debasing himself utterly in front of the most perverted octogenarian Japanese ladies who say terrible things done to him, but his son just kicks ass at all the Warhammer tournaments, and there we go.
Oh my god. All I could picture at the end there was Keith David stood at the side like ass to ass.
Good grief. And like while all this is happening, Will Smith's like, my son's got to get the new high elf box.
Oh my god, what the fuck is Age of Sigmar? What the fuck? Most egregious oversell of the military-industrial complex. I think we've covered it all already, really. The CCTV footage, AI-generated Blade Runner machine, for me, personally. But also, we kind of mentioned this, the agility, the volume of data they intercept and employ, and the speed at which it's turned into actionable intelligence is mental. So my big example for that is when they get the CCTV footage from the convenience store after Will Smith makes his phone call on the payphone, and they can analyze that facial footage and match the face of Brill, and they bring up the photograph from the conversation, incidentally, to ID him as a former NSA employee. And then all that, you could argue, oh, well, you don't know how much time was there. But somebody says, this is footage from the parking lot 20 minutes ago, showing which direction the El Camino drives in. And it's like, so they've done all of that and figured out where they're heading within 20 minutes of the event happening.
For me, the oversell of the military-industrial complex starts at about minute number 1 and ends at about minute 123 or so. The fact that they can maneuver the keyhole satellites, because they do get it right, like they do the terminology right, they use like the keyhole satellites for imaging. The fact that they can maneuver them that quickly and like nimbly, it's like, at least, I forget if the film of Patriot Games goes into this, but the book of Patriot Games goes into the amount of time it takes to maneuver one of those KH satellites to get footage. The fact that they can pick up, CCTV from a lingerie shop, they can instantly put a tap on your payphones. The only real kind of explanation to this is that everything is being recorded all the time, I guess, which ironically we're closer to, I guess, now than we were then. Circling back to what you said about does the film kind of oversell the intelligence community's ability to surveil the American people into such a way that it makes the film not a cautionary tale. It does. It does really, because it's like the grasp is too vast, the scope's too huge, smoke too hard, the bitch too bad. Will Smith will kill you, NSA. But now now certain parts of it are more believable. Like, I mean, if I went up to someone 25 years ago and said, do you believe that everyone's telephone lines are recorded? Most people would probably say no. Now you'd be able to, I mean, if I walked into a pub and I said to fucking 10 people and said to them, do you believe that the government is constantly recording our phone calls to the extent that if you use a payphone, if you can find one that's not a defibrillator station or a public toilet, then, you know, they can pick it up like that? Most of them would probably say yes.
Right, would this movie have been better if it had Jack Ryan, Dr. Richard Kimball, or President James Marshall, Get Off My Plane, in it?
I would say that if you add Jack Ryan to this, you are sort of changing the game a little bit. Obviously, I know the CIA can't operate on American soil without partnering with another law enforcement agency. We've all seen Sicario, right? So, I mean, there's a non-zero chance that Jack Ryan, any of the Jack Ryans, especially the Harrison Ford Jack Ryan, and maybe the John Krasinski Jack Ryan as well, would have partnered up with the FBI, and he would have been in that building surveilling the Gabagool restaurant. Dr. Richard Kimball, it would have been a pretty funny kind of payoff if they accidentally started hunting Richard Kimball instead of Robert Clayton Dean. Like, I didn't do it. And Jack Black's like, skibba-dip-dip-doop, I don't care. Like, freaking, I don't care. Scott Conn and his massive neck just having a fist fight with President Marshall on Air Force One, and President Marshall's trying to choke Scott Conn out from behind, but he can't do it because his neck's so fucking huge.
He's like, get off my plane, and then the parachute goes, and Scott Conn just lands safely. Would this movie have benefited from a weird little scruffy guy played by Peter Falk?
I think every film benefits from
a weird little scruffy guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a weird little scruffy guy, and I would make most films better, I think, or worse. But Columbo especially, yeah. Once again, as I said in the last one, the question is where to deploy him. Because he wouldn't fit with the NSA guys at all, because they're all these, like, hopped-up lads apart from Chief Villain. They're all these young hopped-up dudes who, he's too laconic to fit in with them. He could have given a much more laconic take on Brill.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been quite surprising, especially with the kind of bait and switch when you've got Gabriel, the literal devil, Byrne, being thought to be Brill, but then it turns out he isn't Brill. And he's just like being chased by, you know, Columbo in a dirty raincoat, driving an El Camino. He doesn't have like the intimidating physicality of Gene Hackman, who you believe even at that age could like find a spot in any building with no CCTV and punch you in the gut until you threw up on yourself, you know? But I think he'd be classed as Brill. I think he'd make a good old retired spook who knows his way around things, you know?
Would this movie have benefited from Lieutenant Commander Samuel L. Jackson, US Navy?
Replacing the Admiral with him. Just getting really upset.
Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking as well.
So if you motherfuckers run an illicit operation...
Is that somebody's unilateral wet dream? Either way, they go to prison for it. Like, yeah.
Yes. Just imagine slamming his fist on the fucking desk as he says that like multiple times. Like,
motherfucker.
I've had it with these motherfucking spiky-haired nerds on my motherfucking unilateral op, you know?
or replace Regina King with Samuel L. Jackson and have him play the wife. I'm not getting out of this house. I bought those drapes.
Incredible.
Right. Is this movie pro or anti-CIA? This is a nuanced question. I think you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier on. Yeah, I mean, the get out, I suppose, is that in the plot is that it's a rogue op by this bitter, ambitious little guy. He's been passed over. His wife says he should have been deputy director like 2 or maybe 3 years ago, but he'll get it after this. So that's his motivation. He's passed over. He's a bad guy and he's doing something naughty. But it's not, which is kind of like how they get around the CIA being a bit dodgy and corrupt in Clear and Present Danger. But it's not good enough, I don't think. On the other hand, the CIA comes out pretty well, I think, in that they're the agency that clean house, even though they're the CIA, which is a bit weird. FBI certainly do.
I picked up from the film, I don't know if I'm wrong here, but I mean, the NSA doesn't operate out with American territory, right? So Brill, who was a field agent, Brill's CIA, not NSA.
Yeah. Right, there you go.
Yeah, so this film, A, by dint of being anti-NSA, is, I guess, pro CIA because you do kind of see them at odds in both fiction and in reality, right? The CIA is like shown as like more noble, I think, than the NSA. I mean, there's no real way to nobly portray an NSA officer on the silver screen, right? I mean, and there's a significant amount of like bold portrayals of CIA officers, everything from Jack Ryan to Jack Ryan to Jack Ryan to Jack Ryan.
Let's not forget Jack Ryan.
Let's not forget Jack Ryan. We hit all 5 Jack Ryans there.
You're forgetting Jack Ryan Jr.
And Jack Ryan Jr., Felix Leiter, and Felix Leiter. Ben Affleck in Argo. You can't really make a pro-NSA film, I don't think.
Will Smith surviving the movie and ultimately triumphing does make this a pro-MIB movie. On the back of what you said about Felix Leiter, do we need to make a Jeffrey Wright category as well? Like, would this movie be improved by the presence of Jeffrey Wright?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely.
We need to add him to one of these. Definitely love that guy. Very, very good actor.
Would he improve this film?
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright definitely. I think he also could have made a good Brill.
Maybe like one of the feds or something. Give the FBI guys a bit more screen time and have him as have him as one of the guys surveilling.
Yeah,
man, I love films when people get surveilled. I love films with surveillance vans and people get surveilled and stuff. It's mint.
If I got a podcast for you. Ding Chavez Award for missed opportunity in the movie. Ooh. I got two. Yep. Right, I'm going to let you do yours maybe first.
Biggest missed opportunity is there could have been more cat antics. Not everything has to be funny, but there was scope for a little bit of comedy cat acting, and maybe the cat was a little bit more willful and was a bit more arsey with Will Smith and stuff. I mean, the whole not letting him into the vehicle until he shows him the cat was pretty good, but they could have thrown in a cat-related comedy scene.
I agree. Sanya, do you have anything to add?
I would have liked to have seen FBI activity, maybe. And I think, circling back to inserting a weird scruffy guy, I think I would like the weird scruffy guy to have the lead on the FBI team. Imagine him just coming into the restaurant after the doubt. Just him being the guy, just get him out of there.
Yes.
I've just got one more question.
Like a nice kind of fatherly.
Do you still have the tape? You could also have him show up at the weird lingerie store for his wife.
And he knows exactly what a bra size is. And he's like, I don't need to look at these ladies. I know exactly what she wants. And the manageress is like, oh yes, Columbo, you're our best customer. And he gives a kiss.
Hey doggy.
Hey doggy, because he is the best customer. Like his wife's an absolute fucking dime piece, like 11 out of 10, right?
I think we have two big missed opportunities in the movie on top of those as well. Great additions. I think one, we haven't had a scene where Gene Hackman mournfully plays his saxophone when he's in the jar to just really hammer home that conversation.
Yes.
And then finally, this is one of the few movies of this era where Will Smith doesn't recap the events of the movie during the end credits with a rap song composed specifically for the movie. This is a Big Willie style came out.
Speaking of the Fresh Prince, did you all see when his wife said she was going to go back to Philly?
Right, final category: command and signals, call signs of the movie. To be honest with you, I haven't even prepped any yet. This is going to be completely off my dome. Robert Clayton Dean, what would his call sign be?
I can call him Chippy, because I think of the Clayton Street chip shop in Newcastle, but that is really not going to play with our non in Newcastle listeners. Eggplant, since he refers to himself as the slur eggplant, is a good one.
Big Willie. Brill. Brill's call sign Brill.
Brill is already the guy's call sign, but he needs a better one, so Catman.
Catman, I like that.
Catman, Cat Dad.
This is a rare Gene Hackman non-horny performance. But I suppose we could call Reynolds horn dog because he has a wife who's about 30 years younger than him and a small child.
Yes, Reynolds' call sign is definitely horn dog.
He's horny for promotion as well.
Jake Busey's call sign is just Bussy. Obviously, the Admiral, played by the guy who played Bulldog in Frasier, his call sign's obviously just Bulldog.
Bulldog's definitely big time.
Easy peas. What call sign are we giving Jack Black?
He likes the hairy legs, doesn't he? So
just call him Hair.
Yeah, because he's got that School of Rock haircut for a start. Like, that's the haircut that you fucking reprised for School of Rock, right? And,
he had it High Fidelity as well.
He did. And yeah, like he's into the hairy legs. That itself is so weird because that means that he's like surveilling her in intimate detail, and she's just the fucking housekeeper.
And like one of the plot points of the movie is that the housekeeper's car won't have been bugged or tracked.
Yeah,
because they don't care about the housekeeping. So he's just doing that on his own time. I haven't got a call sign for Seth Green's character, but just an observation. Seth Green's character in this, just guy monitoring what's going on from a van, is pretty much what Gene Hackman's character was doing in The Conversation. So if this movie was a proper sequel to it, we'd probably just follow this guy's little pathetic life.
Yeah,
so you could
they've both got the yellow glasses as well.
Yeah, so you're going to see him like doing this little shit in the van, and then what is his home life like, do you reckon?
Terrible. He's like, he lives on ramen noodles, jacks off constantly, has no friends.
I reckon he owns a Dreamcast.
He owns a Dreamcast. He spends a lot of time on Usenet. He's on loads of obscure bulletin boards. In a few years' time, he'll be a very early adopter of 4chan. He'll post on r/gang stalking, just telling people that they definitely are being surveilled. And the need to just do out-of-pocket things, like you need to start carrying a gun all the time. And his NSA buddies are like...
Cool. Well, to summarise, we've just been discussing the 1998 movie Enemy at the Gates. Enemy of the State. By Tony Scott, starring Will Smith and Gene Hackman and all those cool people. But if you enjoyed that, please feel free to drop a like or subscribe or any kind of engagement. It would be massively appreciated. What movie have we got next, Rory O'Toole?
I believe we have our first listener request. Shout out to our follower, Jim in Cramlington, who has suggested we do the Clint Eastwood Cold War thriller Firefox.
Nice. That's the movie Firefox from 1982. Falkland year.
Falkland year, the year of my birth as well. Holy shit.
Okay, cool. So, I suppose all that's left to say is that I've been Mike.
I've been Sonia.
I've been Rory.
And together, we've been Clear
Present Dudes.
One day we're going to get that perfectly spot on, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. At that, we're going to be on the NSA's radar at that point. Allah, bomb, president,
Queen.
Hi, NSA.
Mike, it is too late to hide your face now.
Hey, dude. So yeah, man. Yeah, fucking people on Reddit are in fucking bits over you guys getting rid of Flecton, you know. There's a lot of angry American gear nerds who are like, oh my god, Americans love Flecton. It's crazy.
It's fucking weird, isn't it?
Like it's I've seen people saying that it's like very well suited to like talking about Flecton here. I've seen people saying it's very well suited. Because I was like saying how like Americans go and like there's like Americans on suicide watch on Reddit over the Germans getting rid of Flecton. I've seen like a lot of like discourse like saying like Flecton's incredibly versatile for like most American terrains and stuff, and it's like Flecton is marked out as one of those camo patterns that marks you as a friend when the boog happens. Multicam is not.
Oh, I'm just looking at the 18 minutes ago, American Pipe Dreams Instagram account posted, what are your thoughts on multi-tarn? Better or worse than multicam?
I'm going to fucking like edit this back into the about multi-tarn and make it longer because this is funny as shit, actually.
Like do a little noise and be like, just from later in the code, like...